Peace to the saints. It's the big homie, the one and only Stephen A. Pimp Fax Kellerman, your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber, the idol of James Bond, Marquett Devon Burton, the saint and the sinner, giving you lessons from a pimp. Oh, today, Saints, we have a special guest in the building, OG YouTuber, you dig? Cat with a tremendous amount of game, one of the realest. I'm just now getting on him, so I'll be learning with you. And I'm going to go ahead and let the angry man introduce himself, give us a little bit of background.
What's going on, Saints? What's good with y'all, man? I'm getting to know the Saint as well. I've been binge watching your stuff, bro. And oh my God, we got to get into that though. But for those of you that don't know me, I'm the angry man. I've been in the space for a while. I'm not gonna say which space because I'm doing a little bit of distancing right now, but just came into the game in 2016 with the purpose of trying to help brothers live a better life and avoid some of the pitfalls that a lot of dudes are falling for now. Feel me?
Oh, and it's a lot of pitfalls and booby traps, or shall we call them booty traps? You did, because these chicks are scandalous out here. We're gonna chop up a lot of game today. And first off, I already see folks in the chat. They're talking about Beano Nation and all this good stuff. So we got to get some background on that before we get going. We show love to those who show love to us. So we want to acknowledge the folks who have already sent in their Cash App, PayPal, or Super Chat. So shout out to Vapor Saint who came through via Cash App. And go ahead.
We have Daniel John came in via Cash App. He said, "Peace to the Saints."
Peace to the
Tuition.
saints.
We have OH came in with tuition. And we have Fabian said, "Approaching a woman with a man next to her. How do I spit game without being rude if she does have a man?" Best line at a bar.
I'm gonna let you everything that's asked, angry man. I'm gonna let you set it off because you are a special honored guest, and they're coming here to get some of this game that you got.
Okay, he said approaching a
man
woman
next
with
to her.
with a man next to her. I mean, look, if you ain't gonna go into it bold, don't go into it at all. You gotta go ahead and do your thing. If he say, "Oh, this is my girl," pardon my bad, but you got to make the assume the sale. You
Mm.
know.
And you know what? The funny thing about this is I've had this happen a lot of times. I've been out in the world, whether it's at a club, a bar, a restaurant, what have you. And what I never respect is when you're with your female, and then you go
Mhm,
off to the bathroom. You go
mhm.
to the coat check, you go make a little move, you come back, and the cat is either right there trying to shoot a shot, and then as soon as you come, he scatter like a roach, or you come back, and then Shorty's like, "Oh yeah, old boy over there came over here and tried to holler." As soon as you walked off, I'm like, "Oh wow, like where's the heart at?" And I know
Yeah,
my old lady don't respect that because she like a real wolf. You heard me? She like a real savage. And so I know she was like, "Oh, you's a sucker, boy. You couldn't come talk to me while he was right there." And just a little bit of game for y'all. The way we do it in Killer Cali is if you see a female with a guy, 9 out of 9, you could look at his swag and tell if that's his piece. Number one. Number
mhm,
two, if she reckless eyeballing the pimping, man, you better go ahead and throw your bid in. But go ahead and keep it gangster. Walk up on her and turn directly to the man. Say, "Is this your female?"
yeah,
And if he say no, then it's a go. If he say yeah, then go ahead and give him a compliment and going about your business. But if she reckless eyeballing a P, I wouldn't even address him when I walk up because she shouldn't have been staring. You heard me? If you peeping, you need to start speaking. You did.
What's the best line at a bar?
I don't really have lines. See, the key is to, fashion victory from the dynamic of the enemy, right? So, like, you got to be able to kick that game on the fly. And that's one thing I like about Angry Man is that he's a thinking man. And a lot of people, they want to go on YouTube and just repeat what other people said or play other people's stuff and do reactions, and they're not thinking people. So you got to think on your feet.
yeah. Best line is to introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm. Angry Man, first and foremost, I saw folks in the chat, they're saying the Assassin, that is the Saint and the Sinner Nation, and the
Mhm.
Beano Nation. What is the Beano Nation? School us all.
Beano Nation is a concept I came up with when I wanted to distinguish um, Black people who are intelligent, thinking, and civilized from the ignorance. So what it stands for is Black in name only, because unfortunately, you know, nowadays black is always associated with a lot of ratchetness, unlike it was back in the day when it comes to the Harlem Renaissance and all of the different things that made black people great. So I'm like, look, we not engaging in any of that foolishness. So we Beano. So whenever I say Beano, I'm talking about somebody, and it's not just black people, it's anybody that comes from a particular culture that has a negative stereotype on it, but you don't engage in that stereotype.
I like that. Shout out to the civilized folks around the world, you dig? And can we just take a pause for the cause and say, go ahead and bang that like button, number one, because you have something special in the making right now. And if you didn't know from listening, just from watching, the drip is crazy. You heard me? Shout out to Angry Man, because I seen you on a couple other videos and the drip is immaculate. And I just love to see that. I love to see some playerism, man. He clean and I do the bucket hats too, man. And they don't know, the
Yeah.
youngins don't know nothing about that sometimes.
They don't, man. They don't. I was actually out because I like the cigars or whatever. So I got a special spot I go to. I
Okay.
went to go get the cigars and I was on a live while I was doing it. And I was like, wait a minute, the polo stores around here. I said, I gotta get something new. I gotta get something new if I'm going on Saint the Center. I can't just show up with some reruns. I gotta get something fresh. So yeah,
Well,
man.
I could feel it, man. I could see that it's shining. The white is super white and super bright. So I see you out here, man. And for the Saints who are trying to get some of that sass and gear, you could get the hat is linked in the description, mdblabel.com. And the jacket is in the description. You dig it? It has says Saint Center on the back in red stitch. So, man, we're gonna need y'all to show up like we show up and do it like you're doing it for TV. Talk to us.
We have Sky God Killa said AM and the Beano Nation in the building. The block is about to get hot. Peace to the Saints. Salute leaders.
You dig. And I really like your concept, Angry Man, because you know there are so many stereotypes that exist and people want to do all these cultural literacy workshops and
Mhm.
all these diversity trainings instead of saying, well, we could stop you from speaking on stereotypes, or we could do the greater work of stop people from being and behaving and living out stereotypes. And so I like that you're giving a great example, you dig, and also gathering up the wise men and women among each other. Yeah,
He
we
said, how much money should a woman put in your hand if, I guess this would say, if she wants to come back to the stable?
ooh.
Ooh. Saying that depends on you got to set the tone for that, bro. Whatever you desire, what you want, is what your program is about. You feel me?
I like that. And you know what? That's true because you have to have a standard. Number one, so you're setting the standard for her. Here's what I how I like to think of it. I like to ask myself, number one, it has to exceed what you already have on hand. So when she present herself to you, you know, try to figure out like, well, what's in your bank account? What do you have in cash? And whatever that is, it needs to exceed that. So you need to have her go out and work and bring you a couple nights of work. You dig, of hard
Mm,
work. So I'm
mm.
gonna need you to take everything you currently have and then go out 4 5 nights and then bring me all of that together and present that to me. Because what you want is that choosing fee. A part of it is to put her through struggle, put her through the tryouts. It's like a pledge semester in a fraternity to let her know you can't just walk up in here and kick your feet up. You got to earn your way. And the way you earn your way is to pay. You dig?
Okay,
Hey, 38 Special said, I put my girl under a lot of stress because reality pills got side effects. You feel me?
Shout out to 38. Shout out to Griselda. Shout out to the real hustlers. Shout out to the honest men. Because your boy didn't live all of these stories these rappers is talking about.
Mm.
Okay, Kenneth came in via PayPal. He said, peace to the Saints. I had a girl who told me I was weird. Eventually, I
Oh.
had intercourse with her. I tried to figure out that if a girl says you are weird, could it be positive?
It could be just because a lot of people don't use proper diction nowadays. But one thing I can assure you of is that a female's position is to go ahead and help a boss up even higher, not to put you down, not to associate negativity with your name. And so it would be strange to me if a chick says something disrespectful like that. This is generally occurring among the lower class females. But one thing I want you to know is that you have to give her knowledge and give her light, but also let her know there's certain things you won't you won't stand. And respect is what you demand. So if she says something like you're weird, you know, when you first meet her, she doesn't know you. So you might go ahead and just let that roll off the shoulder. But you got to give her a little bit of game. Cause I met a chick one time and she had said, "Oh yeah, you know, that's fake," referring to like something I was wearing, which was not the case. But all the same, I just like, you know, had to chuckle because I know she's a goofy broad. And over time, she realized, you know, nothing about the big homie is fake.
Mhm.
But had she continued on something like that, then you got to go ahead and chin check her. So don't ever let them disrespect you. But hey, if you went ahead and smashed and you realize she's a goofy broad, then go ahead and dash.
Yeah.
Let Angry Man, he might have something on that. I want to move too fast on him.
Oh no, that was perfect, bro. I can't even add nothing to that.
Ray said, salute to AM and salute to you, Saint. Long overdue.
It is overdue, and I like it because just from an optical standpoint, you rarely get to see like, you know, two super players collaborate. It's often I'm looking at the screen and I got to cut it off because I'm like, what am I watching? What is this? Revenge of the Nerds out here? And so it's nice to see two civilized, sensible men who have a little bit of sauce to them. You know, a lot of these guys have reinvented themselves, and the reinvention ain't fooling me. You know, like the real recognize real. So when I'm looking at, I'm like, nah, this ain't adding up. And so you got men who have their camera turned on for starters, you know, going by real names out here and kicking real games. So I think that's a real privilege. And I'm looking forward to building this relationship.
We have Jabrizi. He's back again. He said, love seeing the collaboration.
Indeed.
Jacob said, just got the Jab Journal. Shout out to the Assassin and Mitchell for creating such a great product.
Mm,
Indeed. And you can get that at www.thesasn.com. And man, that's a product one of the Saints created to allow you to kind of record and keep pace with the moves you need to make to achieve your goals in the areas of health, wealth, and relationships.
mm.
So you know, just like you got the Beano Nation, we got the Assassin, and we try to make sure that we're not just on here trying to collect a super chat, but we're also kicking real game and making sure that you're making progress in life. And so that's just one of the tools that we got out here.
That's what's up.
We have Ari said, peace to the Saints. Respect to Angry Man here in full support of this collab. Beano Nation.
Shout out to the Beano Nation. Peace to the Saints.
Carry on.
Indeed. So we got so many things to go through. And one of the things I'm developing right now are like a list of rules for females. And one thing that I was really impressed with, I had a collaboration with Black Ram. Angry Man showed up real playerific, you know, came through with the heavy super chats. And also the Beano Nation showed up and they was just lighting that joint up with super chats. It was crazy. I haven't seen anything like it to date. But I know there are a lot of females in your following. So first off,
Mhm.
tell me about, you know, how have you attracted so many females? Because I think that's a unique thing to have that female contingent following you as someone who might be within the manosphere, but definitely, if not, makes a lot of male-centered content.
Well, basically, I've always attracted females to my platform from the beginning because I've always came with a balanced approach. You know, as far as being able to, speak to men about what they need to do. You feel what I'm saying? Also, a lot of the things I say can translate over into women. You know, my main concern has been helping the guys like tighten up when it comes to money, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to just being men in general. And I think a lot of the women like to see that. But the biggest thing is I don't pull any punches with the guys. I'm not pandering to them like a lot of the guys do in certain spaces like the manosphere. They'll, if a guy comes in there crying about something, they'll kind of cater to it. And then they have these little circle jerk kumbaya sessions. And it's
Right.
like, no, I'm not doing that. Like if you come in and you're talking goofy, I'm gonna tell you you're talking goofy. It's with love, but you got to tighten up. So I think a lot of the women come and they see that because they like to see real men be real men, you know.
Preach.
Stop Playing Trey said, hey, Marquette and Angry Man, what are ways do you both suggest I market my YouTube channel to get more views? Peace to the Saints.
Mm. Well, first thing you got to do, don't look for an audience. Your audience has to find you. Okay. And the way you do that is one, you got to be consistent. And two, you got to have some fire content. That's the first two things. Content is king, being consistent is key. You got to start out that way. You don't have to be It doesn't have to be perfect from the start. You know, you can build up to it, but if you want to market it, the two major things that I've noticed in YouTube is consistency and content. If you don't have those two things, so if you want to drop a video once a week, make sure it's the same day at the same time. You know, if you do it every day, make sure it's the same time. That's what's worked for me. And keep it fresh. Don't get stale and you know, regurgitating the same old stuff over and over again, like certain people say no names. You
Right. Number one, be real with yourself. Not everyone has the look for YouTube. Not everyone has the articulation. Not everyone has the timing. There are some individuals in the space, whether it's the pickup artist space or the dating space, that if they came in today, no one would listen to them because they're not articulate. They don't look the part. They don't sound the part. The game is not really that good. But they started so early that they were one of the first people to do it. So people listen because there was nothing else to listen to.
know.
Now the
Mm,
market is hyper crowded. So that same person couldn't even come in today and be successful.
mm,
Further, as I said, be real with yourself. Now, some people know, like, hey, I am a very unattractive man, you know, and because I'm very unattractive, I'm not going to go on camera with my face. I'm going to hide my face. I'm just going to be a voice. That's a strategy.
mm,
Consider it. Or they say, I have no original ideas and nothing interesting to say, or I have no expertise in anything. And because I don't have expertise, I'm gonna just do celebrity gossip. You know, so
mm,
if Kim Kardashian got another butt injection, I'm gonna talk about it. Whatever feminine drama-based topic exists, I'm gonna talk about that. So you got to find a lane. Me, I always promote expertise because expertise can't be duplicated easily. Anyone can talk about what's current in the news. So that's my advice to you. Find a lane, be real with yourself, and if you can do those two things, I think you'll have some success.
Okay, we have
mm.
Jeffrey said, shout out to this collaboration. Salute to Angerman and salute to you, Saint. Hashtag Beano Nation.
Peace of the Saints. Shout out to Dino Nation. Now, tell me what you think of these. So I wrote down two rules. I'm creating a whole collection of rules for females. And
Mhm.
based on the rules, you might get a sense of like kind of like the origin of stuff like this. So one of them is do not find your and men and women. If you got some thoughts on these rules, go ahead and send it in by a super chat. Here it is, Angry Man. It's do not find yourself in person, that is face to face, one on one with a male outside of your immediate family unless you are romantically interested. What do you think of that? Is that reasonable?
That's not only reasonable, that's right and exact.
Mm.
That's right and exact. I remember I had a homeboy that, you know, his girl used to like braid hair for a living, right? But mostly she would be braiding women's hair.
Uh oh.
So
Uh
one
oh.
day, yeah, one day we go to his house and we walk in. Now keep in mind, we're gone. We're not even at his place. We walk into his place and she's sitting there braiding a guy's hair, but he's sitting on the floor and she's sitting there with her legs open, braiding his hair. And I had to pull my homie to the side. I said, bro, what you doing? He said, what you mean? I said, bro, first of all, she shouldn't be in your crib. He shouldn't be in your crib while you're not there. And number two, he definitely shouldn't be sitting between your
Mm,
girl's legs,
mm.
you know, and you know, I don't know. I guess he didn't see anything wrong with it, but yeah, nah, can't do that.
Okay, we have Who Are You said, this sister is here to show support to the Saints family and, of course, Angry Man. This is the collab I've been waiting to see this week. Beano Nation is in the building. I love seeing brothers doing big things.
And she's right. And I so much appreciate this kind of a collaboration because when you have, two big dogs, two bosses, we can really have some serious conversation. Whereas conversely, from what I've seen on the internet, you got to have like 9 hyenas together just to put together a little bit of conversation. You got like 9 people on one call. They talking over each other, arguing like broads, and you can't follow a real conversation. And what I appreciate about Angry Man, and this is the same thing you should look for in any person you deal with, is that the intelligence is there, so the conversation is going to be there. Now, we don't need no sound effect, we don't need anything fancy. It's just all game, no
Mm,
gimmicks.
mm.
And shout out to you, dear. I appreciate you showing up and showing love. Okay, cool. Now, the funny thing about that one is just as these rules are for females, you're right in that just as you like pulled your man aside, like, bro, like you letting her run reckless like this in your crib. The
Hmm.
female should know these rules, and the men should also be sharing these rules and at some level be an enforcer of the rules. But of course, the female has to internalize. And I like that example because that's real sneaky. You heard me? That's
Hmm.
sneaky in that like a man with no evil intention would listen to his old lady, like, okay, that's how you earn money. You braid hair, and it just happened. Trey Songz want to come get his hair braided because he wear braids. Cool.
Hmm.
And I got to go do what I got to do. So yeah, carry on with your business when we all know that that could go left so quick.
So quick. So
So quick. Here's another one. Um, Never be alone in a private space with a 13-year-old plus male unless you're willing to submit to any sexual act that he seeks.
mm, mm, another good one. That's another good. That's another good one. But see, yeah, because soon as you say that rule to the woman, she's gonna be like, "Huh?
Right.
Yeah,
And it sound mean, don't it?
yeah." It does, but it does. But I see the logic behind it because it's gonna make her start thinking. You know, it's gonna put her in the right mind frame. Like, wait a minute, yeah, because if you alone by yourself with a dude, you know what I'm saying? There's always the possibility of something like that jumping off anyway. So let's not fool ourselves. We gonna behave with some agency and stop pretending like we don't have any agency. Yeah, I get it.
And that's not only to tell to your old lady, to also to tell to your daughter.
Yeah.
Don't be in a private space with a male who's 13 years old plus unless you're willing to do anything that he wants to do. Not that you want to do, that he
Mhm.
wants to do. And she might say, well, what if he wants to do like weird stuff? You should know him better than that before you're in a private space with him. And the
Mhm.
reason I say 13 years old plus, because when I was 13, there's not a grown woman on earth that could stop me from doing what I want to do. You
Mhm.
know, you're just not physically strong enough. And that's why I'm telling them for their good as a female to
Mhm.
keep yourself straight. And then for guys on the other end to let her know off rip, like, hey, if you're gonna be in private with me, like here's the rules I follow. I'm not saying I'm gonna do anything to you, but I'm saying that we believe that when you come into a private space, that's almost like you submitting yourself to me. So like, so I know what's up. Let me know. Like we can go in public, we can be in the lobby, so you don't have yourself susceptible to being victim of these Bill Cosby stories and these hashtag Me Too situations that may or may not be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Rienzi said, are sass and cherub logo tattoos allowed?
Go up, boss. Go up. Yeah, man. Do what you do, player.
And CJ said, peace to the Saints, fire collab.
Peace to the Saints.
By the way, I like the Janus logo too.
Oh, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. We trying to figure things out and make sure that we have some good standards that can be carried around the world. We have some real grand plans that we're executing right now. And one thing I really admire about you, and I think a lot of folks do, is that not only do you have the drip, but the backgrounds are crazy. The production quality is A1 from the audio to the video. And so it's a beautiful thing to witness it as well. So, you know, there's a lot of when you say stay consistent and put the work in, there's a lot of evidence behind that, right? So we see that you know what you're doing. And I appreciate when men take that ethic into whatever they choose to do. And so that's why we can tell that if nothing else, Angry Man is a businessman. You heard me? Angry Man tell you how to get to that chicken.
Definitely, definitely. That's one of the things we also deal with, on my channel. There's a lot of brothers, we have a Discord server. There's a lot of brothers that have a lot of expertise in certain fields. So whenever somebody comes into the chat room and they're like, I'm thinking about getting into this or I'm thinking about getting into that. And I'm like, okay, well, I know a guy that's in here that's their expertise. And then we have guys coming back saying, hey, Angry Man, I was making 40K a year. Now I'm at 75 or now I'm at 100K. And it's like awesome. And that's the reason why I was able to do things like I did with Black Ram, because a lot of the guys that come to my show and have been there for years, they've been able to improve and increase their net worth, their earning potential, and all of those different things.
Mm. And you know what? I you know, if you got it, show it, right? Like if you talk about it, be about it. And I really like that because you'll find folks in the chat who will say things like, "Oh, I love your content," or "I love your show." It's like, no, that's not love. Is a strong word. Love is passionate. Love is consistent. Like it's not love if you've been watching for 2 years and you never sent in a super chat. It's not
mm,
love if you've been binging the content you never sent in the cash app. Like that's not love. Like you
mm,
like it or you appreciate it, but you also appreciate 100 other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, say what it is. And
mm,
there's a video that I have in the works. It's talking about how to identify if someone is authentic. And one of the
mm,
ways that I identify if someone's authentic with you, whether it's a male or a female, is that people who are sincere tend to not use hyperbolic language, meaning
mm,
that they don't say things like, "Oh, I love you," when they don't really mean that. Or they say
mm,
like, "Oh, it was the best day ever." Nah, it wasn't the best day ever. It was a good day, but you might not remember it a month from now, right? And so
mm,
that's one of the clear traits that lets you know you're dealing with somebody who's like a little bit more phony and a little bit more emotional. And to that point, I find that I won't say you can't trust any woman. Obviously,
mm.
there are degrees to it, but under the idea that, human beings are human, do you believe there's ever a time that you can completely let your guard down with your female? Say you're 3 years into the relationship, y'all going steady, you might be married or you might be about to get married. Can you let your guard down as a man completely? And if so, like,
Ab-
what does that look like?
Absolutely. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's always got to be like, even if you have, let's say you have a long history, let's say with a chick for 10 freaking years, you know, we can get right up to that 99% level of trust. But I got to keep that 1% for myself. I got to keep my head on a swivel. You know what I'm saying? I can't just, I can't just give it all up.
But angry man, that's your wife. Why can't you put your full trust in your wife, angry man?
Because the moment you let your guard down, that's when the drama come. That's when she show out. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got your guard up and she know you got your guard up, she's like, no, I can't get nothing over on this one, so I ain't gonna try. It's like that boulder analogy I use. A man has to be like a boulder. Woman walks up to it and she tries to push it, right?
Mhm.
Now the first time it doesn't budge, but she gonna try the next day, and she gonna try the next day and the next day. Now, if it budges even a little bit, she'll spend the rest of her life pushing that boulder. You know what I'm saying? So we can't budge. We got to stay right there.
You give her 1 centimeter, she gonna spend a lifetime trying to get that mile.
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Her life, for real.
Okay, we have Who Are You's back again. She said, because of me listening to Angry Man, I increased my salary from 40K to 80K by staying on my credit.
Mm.
Also, he is the one who taught me how to invest in crypto. So I truly value this brother and I've started my big out business.
Mm,
Congratulations. We definitely like to hear about success. And, to that point, I noticed that today folks are always trying to label someone a narcissist or
mm.
toxic, right? There are these buzzwords that let you know people clearly can't think for themselves. But what's your idea of this use of this word narcissism and how it is being thrown at everyone? Is it real? What's it come from? Like, what are your thoughts on this stuff?
When it comes to that, I think people in general have gotten too sensitive to just the world. You know, they don't want to, if they see somebody that's an asshole, they don't want to say, oh, that guy was an asshole. That guy was a jerk. They want to psychoanalyze it and make it about something that comes from, it was because of his childhood. And it's like
Right.
some people are just jerks, you know. They had great parents, had a great life, and they just turned out to be a jerk, you
Hmm.
know. But with the narcissist thing, I don't know, because that particular term and the signs of narcissism, they're a little subjective, because if you look at the signs, some of those signs also are an indication of a person who has high confidence, a person who believes in himself, a person who is a little bit selfish, because being selfish is not a bad thing necessarily.
Right.
So when you look at the clinical term narcissist, there's a lot of traits. Like I fit the clinical terms of a narcissist, but I know I'm not one. So it's like some of those things are a little bit subjective. So I don't know. There's a lot of people that hurl that out there, especially the toxic thing. You know, nowadays, if you're a grown man handling your business like a grown man, you're immediately toxic. Oh, he's toxic. You know what I'm saying? But the toxic guy is the dude that's, you're not being toxic, but when you leave at the end of the date, she's giving you that little hug, like the church hug where they tap you on the back and they keep the space between you. And then she goes in the house and calls up, the toxic guy to come break her back. You feel what I'm saying? So it's goofy.
To beat it all the way down. Indeed. And
Mm-hmm.
the funny thing about it too is that the persons who use this kind of strategic language, like calling male or men toxic, those are the females who want to be men. And so what they're really trying to do is disable you from utilizing your competitive advantage. So when they
Mm-hmm.
say things like that's toxic masculinity, they're speaking against aggression, they're speaking against strength, they're speaking against violence, all areas in which the female is weak in. So she
Yeah.
doesn't want you to use strength, she doesn't want you to use aggression, she doesn't want you to use violence, because when you put that up against her, she's going to crumble. They can never thrive in those areas. So they want to take that away from you. And then the funny thing about the narcissist piece is when you look at everyone who's been hyper successful, you're going to find high levels of what a fool would call narcissism. Like, for example, Albert Einstein had his wife sign a contract agreeing on when to bring his meals, agreeing not to disturb him so that he could hyper focus on what he wanted to do. Very much
Mm-hmm.
self-interested. And then you look at people like Kanye West,
Mm.
whom I'm not a major fan of, but undoubtedly people call him narcissist. And the man has done fabulously well financially. And at the end of the day, who doesn't want to be famous, right? And to be famous, is that not an exercise in narcissism? Because what
Yeah.
I'm tripping on is this is what I find weird. People want to know where I'm out at having a meal at a restaurant. And truth be told, I don't even find it interesting. I don't know why anybody else does. And I could film what I'm eating at a restaurant and people are interested in it. Whereas the guy who's literally at the next table, he could do the same thing and no one wants to see it. So
Yeah.
what people call narcissism doesn't make sense, especially if you have any level of acclaim, because people want to know about you and they're focused on you. So if others are focused on you, wouldn't it make some sense for you to be focused on you? It's like, come on, like let's use some common sense out here. And I say that because I want all of you men and women to know, number one, first and foremost, 3-sentence Bible: be yourself, be good to yourself, be good to good people. Be yourself, know who you are, love yourself. You might go a whole day, nobody give you a single goddamn lift up, nobody give you a single compliment. I say compliment your damn self. Be good to yourself, which means before you're good to anybody, take care of yourself first. That doesn't mean be selfish, rude, and impolite. That means show self-regard, self-respect.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Alexis said, "Peace to the saints. This collaboration is fire."
Oh, indeed. Shout out to the lady saints.
We have Anthony got the jacket that you're wearing on sassinbrand.com.
Oh, he know how to shop. You dig.
James said, "A failed investment set me back. Staying with my mom to re-up my savings. The anxiety about my living situation has affected my cold approaching thoughts."
Minor setback for a major comeback, man. Don't worry about, I know what you're worried about. You're worried about what other people are going to think. And you're in a situation. It is what it is. You can't really help it. Don't worry about what other people think. Like, one of the things that I've always been taught growing up is, I forgot who said it, but somebody once said, I don't know the key to success, but I know the key to failure. And that's worrying about what everybody else thinks. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do what you got to do. Just, make sure you don't stay in that situation too long. You feel what I'm saying? but, just tighten up, bro.
And he has a second super chat question. He said, "It'll take me about 6 to 8 more months to be clear of my debts. Is it wise to stop approaching women when I have no place to take them?"
Ooh. I'm gonna let you get that one, say.
The fuck? Look, see, I could tell James ain't a hood dude because I think we all know every hood dude then lived AOB before. You know what AOB mean? I don't know if
What's
it
that?
made out. live in AOB, all on a B, which is to say that all of your finances are taken care of by a female.
Yeah.
Players can live like that, whether you have money or don't have money. Here's the
Mhm.
important thing: if you're a person of value, and we have to say real value, I'm not talking about the things that you have, but rather the man that you are. If you're a
Mm.
man of true value, that will be abundantly clear. When you walk into a room, you are striking. When you speak with a wisdom that very few have. People listen, they fall silent. When you are a person of value, it is evident. So I could
Mm.
meet a female and tell her what's real. Oh, hey, I working on this business, lost 2 million on it. The tank is on E. I'm working on my next master plan to make 13 million. Right now I live in my mama's basement. It's bad out here. And a
Mhm.
real female of intelligence who can discern the fake from the real because she's intelligent, oh, she gonna work with a player. You dig? Because you got to keep your confidence, because you should never have your confidence externally defined by how much money is in your hand or by what designer's on your back. Your whole game is in here, it's mental. So you have to remember that, hey, the world don't stop spinning for nobody. We got to keep the game going. So how dare you consider slowing anything down? I'm damn near offended. I'm appalled.
That's actually also that also can be used as a tool to weed out the wrong type of chicks. You feel what I'm saying?
You ain't never lied. And one thing that's very true is I can't tell you how many chicks deal with cats that are broke.
Yeah,
I'm what?
yeah, yeah.
He's back again.
Yeah.
He said, I'll take that to heart for sure. I'm 24, by the way.
It wouldn't matter if you was 74. The game is gonna get it done. You heard me? You drop the right game on a female. Because here's the thing: whereas men might pursue money, females are pursuing love. Money has damn near no value to a female. It's only
Mhm.
the traumatized, broken females who think they want money. And here's a funny thing: they get money, they still not happy. You heard me? They get money, they still misbehaving and unpleasant.
Okay,
Mhm.
we have Mr. Clark said, peace to the saints. That podcast, Woman in Games, was game at a new level. Thanks for the enlightenment.
Peace of the saints. It is truly a pleasure. Games is kind of how they live, and think about it metaphorically too, because like games are a pastime, games are a leisure activity. You engage in leisure when you feel like you have time. It's not like you're
Mhm.
hustling trying to make a buck. And one thing you'll notice about women is like, do you ever like I marvel, angry man, I marvel sometimes at how women just seem to have all the time in the world. You hear me? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
got time to get their feet done, they nails done, they hang out,
Mhm.
and ooh, they got time.
Yeah. And in my case, in most men's cases, never enough time in a day just to handle business. Huh?
Now, how do you deal with a female who doesn't seem to respect your time when you're letting her know, hey, I got to get on to X, Y, and Z, or I can't hang out with you every day. I got to make a couple power moves. How do you deal with that?
Well, initially when you first start dealing with the chick, you have to set those boundaries at the beginning, and she has to understand that she doesn't come first,
Mm.
even though she thinks she should come first. She's actually trying to compete for that number one spot, but she can't come first. You got to come first. And in order for you to be first, you got to make sure you straight. So you got to handle your business first before you get into any of that extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Patrice O'Neal said one time. He said, I'm first. I think he said his mother was second. And then he said then he said his girl come third. He said, but he really likes his fish. So she got to be real careful because she might lose the third spot to the fish. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. And it's ironic too that they want you to hyper focus on them because, that is true narcissism. They
Yeah.
want you to take what you might be focused on, whether it's earning or achieving your goals in life, fulfilling your true calling. They
Yeah.
want you to take all your energy and hyper focus it on them. And what I'm telling you, Saints, is that this is not necessarily female nature, but the female of today's culture is
Mm.
extremely narcissistic. But it's ironic because she would project that onto you. And the way we have evidence of this is if you look at Instagram, which I can barely even stand going on it because it's just like a soft core app. All you see is chicks who think they're fitness models, but they're really just showing their butt cheeks on Instagram and flexing their butt, taking
Mhm.
selfies, as though the photograph as a concept was meant to help you immortalize experiences, memories, getting an award, traveling,
Mhm.
wedding. But these chicks take 4, 5 photos of themselves every day just to share with these thirsty simps on the internet. So you'd
Yeah.
be a real foolish simp, kind of like one of their fans, if you let them utilize their narcissism to draw you into what they're into, which is themselves looking in the mirror.
Yeah. Well, one of the things it's their competitive nature. Like men compete for greatness. Like we compete for glory, but they compete to capture, to basically steal that from you. Because if a woman is with a man, she looks at a man, she's like, "Oh, this is a great man because he's trying to achieve this or he's trying to achieve that." And then she says, I could get him to put that much passion in me, if I
Mm,
could get him to pursue me the way he's pursuing that goal or pursuing that money, then I can have him mind, body, and soul. But the only problem is once they do, then they don't want you no more,
right.
you know?
And that is such an important point you bring up, Angry Man, to understand the crooked nature of the female. And it's not that they're necessarily evil or wicked, is that they, one, at some level, don't even understand themselves. Out
Mhm.
of their mouth, they would tell you that they don't like the alpha male. They don't like men who are toxic in their masculinity. They don't like the men who are big and strong and brutish and violent, when really those are the men they love. And when they say things like, I like a man who's tall, that's a metaphor for strength and power, the ability to exercise violence. That's all that
Mhm.
is. Why does he need to be tall? You need him to get things off the top shelf at Walmart? No,
Mhm.
you want someone who can be a good protector. And to be a good protector is to be able to exercise violence.
Yeah.
Yet they would never say that because they're not straightforward. Nothing is black and white. They live in the gray.
Mhm.
Okay, we have Black Wolf said, salute Saint and Sinner and the one love to the Red Pill King, the Beano Nation president, the head of the table, Angry Man.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Black Wolf. You always showing love.
Yes, and I like to see that consistency and loyalty. That speaks a lot about who we are as people. So shout out to Black Wolf.
We have Gravity Films that is falling in love a product of lack and insecurity. I guess lack of insecurity is what it's supposed to say.
No, I think that's how he meant it, is falling
Oh,
in love a product of lack and
okay.
insecurity.
I don't think so. I don't necessarily agree with that. Because love doesn't necessarily have to be a weakness. I notice in this day and age, like a lot of people speak about love as if it's a weakness. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a weakness. It's the other shit that you're doing that's the weakness. So,
Talk about it.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like the love part, there's nothing wrong with loving someone or loving a thing, but the problem comes in where you love someone or love that thing more than you love yourself. And then you start doing things that is out of character for someone who actually should love themselves. And then that's how you get into all kinds of goofiness and trouble.
And I think one of the important things I would have appreciated seeing the saint differentiate between is a female's love and a male's love, which I find to be radically different. What
Mhm.
I know for sure is that a female is consumed by love. When a female's really in love, there's nothing you can tell her. You heard me? I don't know
Mhm.
if you guys ever saw that Shaggy music video where she came in and caught him butt naked banging on the bathroom floor, and then he was like, "It wasn't me."
Yep.
Yeah, they in love. They gonna buy that. Oh, 100%. You can't tell them nothing.
Mhm.
Whereas a real man is a man of rationality, and often love is not rational. And a man who is firm in his rationality and masculinity can even push love aside and say it's not enough.
Yep.
For a man, what is greater than the love for me is the respect. Give
Yes.
my respect.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
Rashawn sent a super sticker. Sorry. I think was he
No.
talking?
Go ahead.
Okay. Ken said, what book recommendations would you both give each other?
Oh wow, that's a good one. Angry
Mm.
man, what you got for me?
Um, one of my favorites is "Thou Shalt Prosper" by Rabbi Daniel Lapin.
Whoa.
He actually goes really in depth in breaking down money and what money is and how the world has kind of twisted things around to have people actually, you know, embrace poverty. You know, in that book, he actually talks about how the world has actually tried to convince you that poverty and righteousness goes hand in hand, which makes people not want to be wealthy and successful. So that particular book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm pretty sure you've read Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad Poor Dad. Um, there's one book There's one book that you might actually like. It's called Science of the Mind, but I can't remember the author, but I don't usually recommend that book because some of the people are probably watching say, "Wait a minute, Angry Man, you never recommended that book." It's a difficult read, so I only recommend that book to people that are, I believe are really intellectual because
Sure.
you read a few pages and then you'll put it down. You won't read it. But
Science of the mind.
yeah, but those, and I'm drawing a blank. There was another really good one that I read recently. Oh, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Okay. Yep.
Really good book. Really good book. But what would you recommend?
What's the most important thing to you right now?
Success.
Tell me more.
Uh the most important thing to me at the moment is success, carving out a legacy, and immortality.
Gotcha. I probably wouldn't recommend a book. And that's because a guy like you is well read. And I think that there's certain of us who have read enough
Mm,
because the truth is, for the most part, there's nothing new in terms of ideas that other human beings are offering that has not already been said. We might reformulate it, but
mhm,
no one's bringing out groundbreaking information. So, what people like you and I need are groundbreaking experiences and groundbreaking
mm,
connections. And we need changes in emotional state, which is going to make us do the thing that's going to get you to that next level of success.
mm,
So I don't think angry man is in lack of knowledge. He might be in lack of a contact, or he might be in lack of a piece of emotion to say, man, get off your butt. There's this one thing you knew you should have did 2 years ago. So that's
mhm.
what I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend a book. And I also am going to go ahead and say that most of you, and you guys can stop naming books in the comment section because we're not giving promo to strangers. You dig? If they're not in Assassin or if they're not in the Beano Nation today, we're good on that. But if I had to recommend a book in general to people, I would recommend The Black Box. And you might say, Marquette, you wrote The Black Box. That's correct.
Mhm,
One thing I want you guys to know is that the book tells you a couple things. Number one, that if you create a product, you should only do it because you can make it the best. And that's what I did with that book. And then number two, it's a book that's not about me. It's an autobiographical book that manages to be about you, makes you think about where you're at today in life and what's inside of you that's going to allow you to get to where you deserve to be based on who you really are, not based on how people look at you from the outside. They look at you, they say you're fat, they say you're ugly, they say you're a narcissist, they say you're toxic, they say that you came from a bad family, they say you're not that smart. They say all these things, but only you know what's inside. The Black Box is a book that makes you look inside and it stimulates your emotion to make you get to what you got to get to. Because here's the thing that's going to move you forward. It's very rarely what you know. Most people know the right answer. It's what are
mm,
you willing to do? And it's the emotions that make you actually get it done. You got to feel like you're a winner. You got to really believe it to go do it. We all know what to do. We got Google. We could search out the answers. but are you going to live out the answer? So that'd be the one.
We have Crypto Escobar said, Peace Saint, I manage a team of women who criticize my tone when I hold them accountable. Any advice on how to game up women in the workplace and get them to fall in line? Much respect, big homie.
I'm not
Mm,
even lying to you, bro. It is a true displeasure managing people in the modern era because they're so feminine in a bad way. They exemplify the lowest traits of the feminine nature. There's some great traits in femininity, like being empathetic,
mm,
caring, kind, detail oriented, good listener. That's real femininity that we all appreciate. But what we're often seeing displayed within the male and the female is that feminine nature of being critical in an unpleasant way, or being nitpicky, or naggy, or sensitive. So I know what you're talking about. It's really unfortunate. And low key, I wish a lot of chicks wouldn't even be in the workplace. They need to be at home. You dig? Trying to work on cooking up a meal, trying to work on cleaning up a goddamn house. You dig? But hey, since they out here, here's the thing. Number one, uh, people in general always have to feel like you care about them. Before you give anyone criticism or discipline, they have to know that you care about them. Now, consider this. The master Sun Tzu writes, soldiers must be loyal before you punish them.
mhm.
Soldiers must be loyal before you punish them. It's the difference between this. If I were to encounter a stranger and tell them, I'm disappointed in you, they don't even know who I am. It means nothing. If I were to encounter someone who is familiar with me and is loyal to me and believes in me and understands what I stand for, and I say, I'm disappointed in you, that might break some people down to tears. Huh? So the point is you have to have that rapport with the person before you begin to discipline them or before you begin to give them guidance. So your first cause as a leader is to be a sincere listener and to build rapport with that person. Now, with regards to females in management, I highly recommend you do everything in writing if you can. If you got bad news, give it to them in writing via email so you have a record of the objectivity. And I would never give one-on-one negative feedback without a third party there because
Facts.
you never know who's going to say what.
Okay, we have Rob said, Peace to the Saints. Shout out to the true masculinity in the room. Fellas, how do you guys deal with a female trying to find holes in your armor? Had to use had to use the P lips on a B to keep her in line after she tested me.
Talk to him.
Mm. Well, first of all, you have to know what holes you got in your arm
Woo, hello.
and fortify it before she. You got to do a systems check and make sure you know where the holes are at and get them joints tightened up before she even sees them. You know what I'm saying?
Angry Man gives such a meaningful insight talking about self-awareness. Angry Man, one of the biggest differences I observe between those who are successful and those who are unsuccessful is self-awareness. Not
Mhm.
even intelligence, just self. Can you look at the mirror and see what's really there?
Yeah.
And I like
It's
what you said, which is like, Shorty is looking at you and she's talking about things that are there. So you
yeah,
got to know what's there as well. I like that.
yeah. Because it's most guys can't do it because it's a really humbling experience to look in the mirror and pick out your psychological flaws. I had to do it because when I was younger, I was in a position where there was no support system, and I knew there was no support system. So if I wasn't going to be able to do it for myself, I wasn't going to have any help. I wasn't going to have anything to fall back on, so I had to figure it out. And one of the things I realized is the first thing I had to do is I got to look at the things that I'm not good at or the things that may cause my downfall and be honest with myself and say, okay, how can I mitigate? What can I do?
Okay, Lucifer's back again with another $50 on Cash App.
Baller alert.
He said, yes, that's me also super chatting. Peace to the Saints. And there's, I think, four more super chats that are coming from him as well.
It's funny how in Angry Man, you'll always hear me talking about hierarchy. I'm a big
Mhm,
believer in hierarchy. And people are always talking about equality, which doesn't exist in the real world. There's no such thing as equality unless you're talking mathematics. You got
mhm,
one guy who will send like a whole bunch of super chats, and then you got 1,000 people on the call have never in their life sent a super chat, and they're getting free tuition, or excuse
mhm,
me, giving free information, free education, free game. And what's perplexing to me is like, okay, so he's paying his toll and their toll. They get to walk down the road for free. Yet we have a society wherein we don't exalt the people who are doing more than their fair share. And we still think they should get the equal treatment and equal outcomes as this other person that's not doing the same thing. And that's one thing I want to let you guys know about is like, yeah, maybe when you're in elementary school and a public school, they try to approximate equality. But once you get out in that real world, there is no equality. There's no such thing as that. I know when I go to a restaurant in Las Vegas, I'm about to get in there. Even if they say it's full, even if they say it's no reservation, I already know I'm gonna get in there because cash rules everything around me in a town like this. And this is Cash City. So
Mm.
I want you all to know, like, as a man, especially, don't ever expect equality. Don't even expect fairness. Do not complain. Deal with what is real, the reality of things, and carry on from there. Angry man, I even told people, they said Trump is a racist. I said, even if he is a racist, I don't care. Like, my money's flowing under Trump. That's
Oh
what I
yeah.
care about.
Oh yeah.
So they're getting sidetracked. I'm saying keep your eyes on the prize.
Oh yeah. Make my pockets great again. That's how I feel.
In a real way, especially if you're using gas right now, you really need your pockets great again. They got me driving my hybrid most of the time.
Hey, Dan said, how do you gain respect from people have lost respect for you or never had respect for you in the first place? This includes family, friends, coworkers, etc.
Okay, so when it comes to respect, which is paramount, if a person doesn't have respect for you, especially family, from it doesn't matter who it is. If someone doesn't have respect for you, you gotta you gotta kind of distance yourself from that person because your boundary is look, if you're gonna deal with me, you're gonna respect me. And in return, I'm gonna give you respect back. But if you want to disrespect me, then you got to get away from me. Because people like that are dangerous. If a person will disrespect you, that leads down a pretty nasty path. They can do a lot of other things to you as well. This includes family. This includes family. I don't care. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your mother. Some people you have to love from a distance. You know,
Talk
like,
to him. Talk
for
to him.
real. I don't care who it is. You gotta keep those people away from you. Plus, you only want people in your life that are appreciative of you, that not only respect you but appreciate you, value you as a person. If you're someone like me, who I'm a very generous person, I'm a very giving person. So because of that, I have to be very careful about people I allow to be around me because I'll get used very easily, and by the time I figure out that you don't respect me or that you have some sort of hidden agenda in the back of your mind, I done already did a bunch of things and I'm gonna be mad at myself about that. So you got to be real careful about people who are blatantly disrespecting you throwing little sneak shots at you. You got to be mindful.
Bruh, so much game. Look, and shout out to that 3 sentence Bible. Number one, be yourself. Number two, be good to yourself. Number three, be good to good people.
Mhm.
Same thing with angry man. And I learned the hard way because I show love to those who show love to me. The problem was before that when I would show love in general because I'm a loving person. You heard me? Because I have a kind heart. And you
Mhm.
get done dirty out in this cold world showing love to people who are wicked, of which there are many. There are very few saints. And you out here showing love to these sinners. You did.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to point out, respect is something that people I grew up with will die for.
Yeah.
So I tend to take respect very seriously. But here's the thing. I don't need everybody's respect. Sometimes I see people in the comments say things like, "Oh, I don't respect you," and I'm like, "Bro, who are you?" I'm Marquett Devon Burton. I'm the big homie. Who are you? I don't. Your respect is of no value. Your respect can't get me on a bus. Your respect can't pay my check at a restaurant. Your respect can't do anything for me. But my respect can get your check cleared in a restaurant. You heard me? My respect
Mhm.
can get you taken care of in a certain place. My respect could get you laid down in a certain place. So what your respect mean to me? I mean a damn thing.
You,
So
you know,
go ahead.
you know who did that, right? You know, Oprah did that, right? Oprah made everybody feel like their opinion matters.
Ooh, tell me more.
So you got people running around here thinking like, and I have that happen in my show as well. They'll come in and they'll say, well, I don't respect you, angry man, because you said XYZ. And I said, well, maybe you should cry about it. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? Like, this is the ridiculous thing of our society now. And I think it's because a lot of people don't grow up getting that tough love that we used to get back in the day. You know, we used to get that tough love, like where you come in the house crying about it, or mad because somebody's picking on you, and then somebody, even the women in your family. My grandmother used to tell me stuff that made me tough as nails. I went in the house crying because I got punched in the nose. Well, go back outside and punch him in the nose. What, you a punk or something? Like, you want to be a crybaby? Is that what you want to be for the rest of your life? Like, you're a little kid being told this, but nowadays people don't really get that. So they think that every little feeling they have, because it matters to them, it should matter to everybody else. And it doesn't. Like, I have to tell my sons that all the time. Like, nobody cares about your feelings. No one cares. Like, when you get out here in the world, people are gonna do all types of goofy stuff, and you got to keep your head on a swivel.
That's right. And the master Sun Tzu writes, when you are traveling a foreign land, avail yourself to local guides. When you are traveling a foreign land, meaning a land that is not your own, avail yourself to local guides, meaning people who are from that turf. Go connect and tap in with them, figure out where you at, figure out what's going on. Because, like, for example, when I was a young man in high school, grew up in a neighborhood with a lot of bloods. So many blood gangs, they beef with each other. There's no Crips around. They beef with each other. There's this one female who is dealing with Lil Wayne. And by the way, just for the record, if everybody wanted, how Lil Wayne become a blood? Because he was up in my hood. That's how he want to become a blood. That's why he want to wave that flag and think he a Damu, because he was in my neighborhood. Anyways, so he had pulled up on this little female in my neighborhood. And them wolves was out there like, boy, you looking awfully wealthy out here. You feel me? So long story short, when I was in high school, they pulled up on that boy, had that man hemmed up. And the thing is, like, you might be Lil Wayne on MTV, but in this neighborhood, you ain't a damn thing. You got to see what's good with the big homies. They run this neighborhood. You don't run a damn thing here but your mouth. You get your helmet slapped off in this neighborhood. And that's what he had to bow down in that neighborhood and figure out who's running things. I say that to say this to you. Your respect is everything. A man's respect is everything. So don't let people disrespect you if it matters, but also don't go chasing respect, because everybody's respect doesn't matter. One thing I never do is try to get respect from people who are not respectable. I don't want your respect if your respect doesn't mean nothing. I don't want your respect if you don't respect yourself. What kind of currency is that to me? So when you have your mother or your father who might not even be people of consequence or people who have honor, yeah, they're your blood and you got to respect that bond, but you don't necessarily need to be chasing their respect. Because here's the thing, you'll never see me go out anywhere and disrespect anyone for no reason. I don't care if they're homeless, they're a janitor, they're a waitress. You will always hear me saying, yes, sir, no, sir, may I, thank you, please. Everybody, it doesn't matter what hierarchy they're on. And sometimes I'll be somewhere and you'll have people who are older than me calling me Mr. Burton. They're calling me Mr. Burton because of the financial hierarchy. I've earned that respect, but that doesn't mean I turn around and disrespect them, because I don't know who they are and I don't know who they're connected to. So you always have to move around with a baseline of respect. But what I don't want you wasting your time doing is trying to appeal to everyone. You don't have to be loved by everybody. And one thing I can guarantee you, if you're winning in life, you're damn sure going to have some people who hate you. Why? Just because you're winning. That's the only reason they hate you. I mean, there are nerds on the internet who hate me, and I'll tell you, I know exactly why they hate me. They hate me because a lot of these nerds on the internet are like the viewers. So the nerds are watching the nerds saying, hey, if this guy used to be a clown, and then he transformed into somebody people listen to and regard because he has money. I can do that too. So they can identify with somebody like that. But then they look at Marquett and they say, this guy is cocky. What they really mean is confident. They say this guy is cocky, and they can't identify with me because I've been winning my whole life. Track all the way back. Middle school, I was the president of the middle school. High school, Mr. Irresistible, best smile, best dress. Oh, went to elite colleges, started a fraternity. I was always the guy. So you don't want to identify with me because I remind you of the guy you wanted to be in high school. That guy probably looked down on you. But here's the thing. I was always super trill. I done saved a lot of lives in high school. It was a lot of time people was about to get their helmet slapped up. I said, nah, let him breathe. And I never looked down on people or made fun of people, but you looking at me like I'm looking down on you. So you want to get mad in advance. You want to get jealous in advance. Nah. That's why they don't want to identify with me, because I don't come on here saying, oh, I used to be a nerd. Now I have girls. Look at all these girls. You don't realize when you watch this stuff, it's TV. They paying these chicks to be there. You ain't never seen me with a female that I was paying. You only see me with a female that was earning for me, bringing me back information, bringing me back money. I'm nothing like these boys. So I don't ever want to hear somebody get on here and say, oh, you like this dating coach or you copy this dating coach. How? When they're trying to put my lifestyle on TV, the things that I really done, when they just started doing this stuff when they got money. It's a big difference out here. I'm gonna name myself Angry Man 3. I'm Angry Man 3.
No, I feel you. I feel you on that, because when I came into this space, I came into this space with genuine concerns, genuine things to talk about, but I also came from a particular type of background. And when I first came into the space, there were guys here that are the guys you're describing, the guys that are the nerds, or the sometimes they call themselves educated lame or whatever. But I've never been the type of dude to prey on the weak. You know, when I was in school, I wasn't the most popular guy. I wasn't even the most popular jock, but I could fight. So nobody picked on me or bullied me. And I had homies that people would try to pick on, and I would step in like, nah, you're not going to do that to him or whatever, right? So when I came into the space, I looked at these dudes like, okay, y'all the little homies. But then when they turned on me, I know why they turned on me. They turned on me because I remind them of the Broad Street bully. I remind them of the guy that could get the girl that they wanted, or the guy that was, you know, that could come in and be the life of the party and have the chicks laughing or get the chicks' attention. I mean, it's still happening right now. I went to a couple of shows and, you know, put some in the super chat, and it was a female show, and they stopped the whole show just because I was in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, Angry Man. Let me talk to Angry Man.
Debo here. Everybody go.
Yeah, let me talk to Angry Man real quick. You know what I'm saying? And they see that and they get upset. And it's like, look, I can't help it if people like my charm. I can't help it if people like those things about me. It's always been that way for me, even since I was a little kid. So I can't really help that. You know what I'm saying? But got these guys, they want to hate, bro. Trust me. I feel you on the hate.
And let me let everybody know. Me, because and I want to set some culture here. You know, some of it is culture that I'm actively creating, and other pieces of it is culture that I grew up with from my neighborhood. And I know a lot of cats who grew up in similar situations have the same culture. I heard one guy say, oh, well, you know, like so and so came at you, Marquette. Like when you come back at so and so, like, why are you so disrespectful? I'll tell you exactly why I'm so disrespectful. Where I'm from, there's something called a friendly fade. A friendly fade is a fight between friends, which if you're a square, you might be like, well, why would friends fight? Well, because every now and then people want to poke their chest out and you say, well, you know what, bro? Like, you know, you've been my partner for a long time. We're good friends. And my chest is always poked out. Your chest is always poked out. Let's see who needs to put their chest down a few notches. So, you know, you go ahead and throw them hands. And when somebody hit the ground, you just let it be. You know, you standing back up. If you want to keep it going, we could keep it going. But once he hit the ground, it's pretty much over. And now we're square. Now we know what's what. And we can continue being friends as civilized men. But we just need to get that off your chest, because sometimes that's what men need to do. Now, that's a friendly fade, meaning we're friends. If we're not friends, I probably wouldn't even raise a fist to you. I'll raise something else to you if we're not friends. Number two, if I had to fight you, which I try not to fight people unless it's a sport, we're boxing in a ring. or you're a friend. Otherwise, I try not to raise a hand to you. But if we have to pop it off, if you hit that ground, I'm not about to let you stand up and like decide if you want to carry on. If you hit that ground, I'm trying to stomp you through the ground. I'm trying to make you a part of the ground. So what I'm telling you guys is this: there's a difference in the way you engage conflict with friends, family, and loved ones, and then you engage conflict with enemies. And one thing I want the whole internet to be on notice of is if you disrespect me and there's no taste, class, or objectivity, and it seems like there's something behind it, I'm gonna look at it as an insult, and I'm gonna want you stomped through the ground. And just by the way, I know Angry Man is here. Just a public service announcement from Marquett Devon Burton. Angry Man is not signing off on this. I'm gonna let you know right now. He ain't signing off on this. This is my message. Jeffrey X, Transiga X, I roasted the death out of, and I just want to say that individual's channel has not made any more videos since I exposed him, since I roasted him. They ain't even made no more videos. Have you guys noticed that? I'm also about to re-premiere the video that I did roasting Transica X. I'm gonna premiere it because I want to watch it too. I'm gonna be in the chat. I want to watch it too with the popcorn. So I'm gonna premiere that either tomorrow or the day after, depends on when I got time. But I say that to say, anybody want to talk reckless about me? I'm really out here and I have no respect and I'm coming for everything. So make sure you think twice before you disrespect me, because I'm really that guy.
Bro, I thought I had some epic roasts. I was watching a couple of your roasts. I just had to tip my hat. Like, look, there was one I gotta bring up. There was one where you were talking to, it was two guys and two chicks, and they were all together or something crazy like that. They were polyamorous or whatever, right?
Right.
And you went on this rant. And at the beginning of the rant, you said, first of all, I'm the big bad wolf, little buddy. And then you just went in. I was like, yo, I wasn't no more good, bro. I was sitting over there rolling, but like you went in. I was like, damn. And the crazy thing is, one of the chicks, she was actually agreeing with you. Like, I was watching it. She was sitting there like she was loving the energy. And I'm like, and these two dudes sitting there talking about that one of them talking about that he was a king. How the hell you a king and your woman is co-signing the dude that's roasting the shit out of all of y'all? Like, come on.
Exactly. And you know, angry man, I try not to be an angry man. I actually try to be a man of peace, but I must admit, and the homie called me up a couple of times. He's like, "Quay, like, man, like, leave these internet nerds alone, man. Quit responding to these people, bro. They ain't your pedigree," which is true. But it's just challenging for me because one, I'm not one who in real life has ever had anyone walk up to my face and disrespect me in real life. I've never one time had that. I've only had 3 major situations, like when I'm like real major situations. And those were real gangsters. You know what I'm saying? Those are real killers who, truth be told, I wasn't even on their pedigree. Like, I wasn't even on their level. You heard me? Like, I always been a money guy. I've been a hustler. Like, I was never a gangster. Like, to me, gangsters are just like violent people. Like, I was always trying to get the bag together. And so the only 3 issues I ever had, which were very serious issues, were with actual gangsters. Everything else was like, it was a Scooby snack. And so I say that to say, when I got like these nerds on the internet, I find it difficult to deal with it. But I'm maturing. I find it difficult to listen to them say things that I know for a fact, if we were in person, it's like, bro, you wouldn't even talk like that. And I don't care if all of y'all were here, none of y'all would talk like that, because you're not that. But I would. And people who know me, they know, like, man, this guy is everything he said. Yeah, all that and a little bit more. And that's why it's so difficult for me to like listen to this stuff. I'm like, y'all are straight. It's like, homie, like, if you was in person, you wouldn't even run your mouth like that.
Well, see, it's a difficult transition that I've struggled with as well, because when you come from a place where being too disrespectful will get you slapped or get you punched in your face, this internet shit, they got different rules. And their rules are goofy rules. You know what I'm saying? Because recently they're talking about this little meetup thing that they're doing with the sphere or whatever. And there's one little guy that said something crazy about another guy that I'm pretty sure you know. And the other guy that's a kind of big guy, he said, when I see you at the meetup, I'm gonna punch you in your face. And so now everybody's shook. Everybody's like, I was going to go to the meetup, but they're talking about a fist fight. And, I was invited to the first one, but I recently found out that it was only one guy that wanted me to come because everybody else was concerned. They were like, you're going to invite the angry man? Are you sure about that? And the thing is, it's like, well, number one, you guys wouldn't be feeling this way if there weren't so many reckless, disrespectful guys
Right.
running their mouth on the internet. I shouldn't be in the zone to where I feel like I got to put my hands on you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I was watching one stream where they were having a conversation about you in another situation that just happened.
Okay.
And I'm not going to mention this, but they were saying, yo, what did I say? I said something in the chat room, critiquing it. I was like, well, why did he take a picture with boom, 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 right?
Mhm.
And the guy was like, oh, better watch out, angry man. Yo, Saint got them hands, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, cool. I was like, look, I got hands too, you know what I'm saying? And I'm giving my critique on it, right?
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, these guys in this space, they're really not built for any grown man shit. Like they're not. They just don't. It's just not in them. And it's like, if you're up here talking like grown men, you got to be willing to accept the consequences when another grown man takes offense to your disrespect.
Right.
And if you're not willing to take those consequences, then maybe you shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you shouldn't be. But see, somebody like you or somebody like me or somebody like a couple of other guys, because the other guy I'm talking about is from Chicago.
Yeah.
We come from places where, if you let somebody clown you in front of everybody, you're not going to be able to come outside and be comfortable because everybody's gonna try you, you know?
You know what, angry man? For me, it's not even like the jokes. Like I'm cool with the jokes. It's like don't hide behind a false image. Like if you're gonna talk about Marquett Devon Burton, like say what your name is, say where you from. Let me know what it is. Like let me know who you are. Be a man and stand on it. That's number one. Then number two, don't lie. Like I'm all good with people cracking jokes. I like to crack jokes too. And I realize I'm a public figure. So, people gonna speak up. That's cool. That's cool. Like you
Mhm.
want to talk about the floral pimping, you want to crack jokes and that. That's all good. Like one cat said I look like cat off of Gilligan's Island. And I was like, bruh got jokes. I ain't gonna lie, bruh funny. And that's all beautiful. But like if you get to a point where you're making up lies or where you're disrespectful to me, you start falling into that enemy category. And like
Mhm.
that I can't get down with. And the other thing is with regards to that meetup, which obviously everyone knows that has nothing to do with me. I've never been a part of the manosphere. I never tried to slap fives with people. And I came in a game letting people know, like, I don't slap fives with none of y'all. Like, I don't know you. I don't want to know you. I'm on some whole other stuff. I came in the game like that.
Mhm.
But like that kind of a meetup, like I wouldn't even want to go to something like that. Cause the way I think about it is like, all right, if I was in the little guy situation, right? Like the smaller guy, oh, I'm
Mhm.
gonna show up. I'm gonna show up. And I don't care how big the other dude is, 6'5", 6, he could be 6'30. But I'm gonna make sure that I got something that's gonna make it go my way. So like I wouldn't even want to be there if there's beef, you know what I'm saying? Because like I can't
Yeah.
trust what the little guy gonna do if he too small, and I don't want to be around when the big guy go ham. You feel me? Because I
Yeah.
don't want to be in a situation like that. And that's one thing I always teach people is like, is it about money or is it about something else? Like if you guys are content creators, like like you're here to make a buck, like let's keep our eyes on the prize and let's do that. But it's the pettiness and the lack of masculinity that leads people into this kind of drama filled behavior. And that's why a
Mhm.
lot of these folks I don't address, I don't bring them up. And I even show respect to the ones who are objective. I'm not going to name his name because he didn't come through when I had my pull up show. But if you're respectful and you just saying what's on your mind, it is what it is. But when you get disrespectful like Transica X or any other person out there, then we gotta put you in that frying pan. And by the way, her career dead. You heard me, it's over.
We have Black Ram 313 says salute Saint and Angry Man.
Shout out to Black Ram. Check out the collab we did just a couple days ago. And that's one of the early folks. And Black Ram is a man I respect. And to me, I'm not an internet guy. Like Angry Man and I were talking about collaborating. I spoke to Black Ram one on one, face to face, so to speak. And I was like, what's up with Angry Man? Like, what's he off of? Because I could care less if the views are going to be there. I want to know what that integrity talking about, because to me, if I'm going to take out the time to share space with you for an hour or an hour and a half, it's like, like we're starting a relationship. So let's invest that time into something that can grow and prosper and benefit both of us. And it would be a pity that we would collaborate and then find out later one of us is not solid,
Yeah.
So, I talked to Black Ram and he said, he's a stand-up guy and I really appreciate and respect his perspective. And I want to encourage all of you to only deal with men who are saintly.
Okay, Lucifer is back again. We have Castro, all the way from New Zealand, said, after my consultation with Marquett, my views on life have changed, and now I see opportunities on how to make a dollar everywhere I go. Marquett is
Yes.
authentic and a true hustler. Peace to the saints. Shout out, Angry Man.
Peace to the saints. I appreciate that. Shout out to the saints around.
Stefan's back again, this time with $50.
Baller alert.
He said, Anchorman and or saint, have you ever had a situation where someone undermined your intelligence and later on learned the hard way they were wrong about you? Whether it be a classmate, teacher, potential biz partner, corporate exec, cocky investor, etc.
That's the story of my life.
Right?
Story of my life. Like everybody always, but I learned to use it as a instead of being upset about it, people having an initial impression about me, I actually learned to use it as an advantage. So a lot of times when people mistake me for being a street thug and not intelligent, they always end up paying for it.
I agree with you. And the funny thing I want to let people know, just in case you're not aware of, sometimes you might be African American or Latino or fill in the blank with whatever demographic disadvantaged people group you're a part of. And you might think, oh man, they doubt me because I'm black, or they doubt me because I'm a woman, or because I'm fill in the blank. You could be a white man. Oh, people still gonna doubt you. You could be a Jewish man. People still gonna doubt you. Every human being is going to have a situation where people look at you and doubt you because of the way you look, because of whatever culture you come from, because of your personality, because of your tonation. So I want you guys to know that first and foremost. And the reason I say that is because, admittedly, having grown up in poverty in a homogenous neighborhood that was entirely black, there's like no diversity. So I was around black, poor people. And I was convinced that white folks were racist. And I was also convinced that they were holding me down, even though I hadn't really had a ton of direct experience with them. Then when I got to university, I was kind of tripped out because a lot of these white kids who came from like middle class or upper class backgrounds, I was like, man, these boys working hard at school. You heard me? Like they working like they broke. They working like they need to earn something. And I was just kind of wondering, like, how are they outworking me? Because I really have something I got to earn. These boys have vacation houses and winter houses that are bigger than my apartment. Like I could fit 3 of my mom's apartments in their vacation house, which they only live in like 1 or 2 months out of the year. I was like, why are they out hustling me? I say that to say this. Number one, no matter what race you are, you got to work hard. No matter what race you are, demographic, people are going to doubt you. Number three, that you really need to understand they can doubt you. That's fine. But the question is, do you doubt you? In my
Mm.
book, The Black Box, this comes up a lot. A lot of people doubted me, but I never doubted me. Not one time. When I was at Berkeley, less than 1% black male population. Less than 1% black male population. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, that was the only black guy I saw that day. Went to class, I was the only one. Read my book, The Black Box, if you've ever been doubted. There was a story in there. I was in a lecture hall with 400 students. And one time I raised my hand to ask a question, which almost never happens in a lecture hall that big. So I raised my hand and the professor said, stand up. And I stood up and I asked my question, which was a very insightful question. And then the next class session, so that was like a Tuesday, the next class session on Thursday, I was absent. I didn't go to class. Then the following Tuesday, I came back to class. And as the class was starting, everyone's getting settled in, about 400 students in there. The professor says on the microphone, he says, hey, black guy. And, like I wasn't facing him at the time because I was like putting my book bag down and I like turned around like, that got to be me. I don't think there's any other black guy in here. So he's like, yeah, black guy. And then everyone turns like, whoa, did he just call him black guy on a microphone on a speaker system? And he's like, yeah, black guy, you. And I was like, and so I'm looking at him and he says, yeah, you were absent last class. He's like, I know because you're the only black guy in here, which was very meaningful. It's meaningful because number one, you're the only black guy there. That says a lot about the nature of black males. They're underachievers. That's the only reason I was the only one elite. The rest of them are underachievers. And that's not racism, that's factual. That's number one. So just as much as I'd like to get mad at him for calling me black guy, I got to get mad at all the other black guys for not being there because they couldn't be there. They couldn't earn their way in. Number two, when you have that level of visibility, you got to show up every time because they know when I'm gone. One of the Asian kids didn't show up, nobody knows. One of the white kids didn't show up, nobody knows. I'm hyper visible. I have to show up. And he put me on notice. Number three, he said, you know, I brought an answer to your question at the last lecture because when you first answered it, I didn't have the academic citations to give you the appropriate answer. I researched your question. I have the answer here. The man took the first 20 minutes of his lecture just to answer the one question I asked him. That's respect. Now, here's the thing. When I showed up to that class, I'm sure everybody doubted me. What are you doing here? There are none of you here. How'd you end up in here? Here, metaphorically, meaning the university. Here, meaning this classroom. Here, meaning this level. Yeah, of course they doubted me, as they should. I would have doubted me too. To look at me from the outside, I would assume everything else they would assume because guys who look like me are usually fronting, but they really broke. Guys like me who are wearing diamonds are usually wearing fake diamonds because they can't afford them. Guys who look like me are usually wearing a watch like this that look cool, but it ain't custom handmade with their initials in it. Huh? They usually wearing drip like this, but they ain't designed it and sell it on mdblabel.com. So yeah, if I looked at a guy who looked like me, I would doubt him because guys who look like this are usually fakers, liars, have no integrity and no education. So when the police pull me over, when I'm in my foreign car with the crazy doors, I'm not surprised at all. They not pulling me over, they pulling you over. They pulling you over. The average black guy, they don't know who the hell I am. So I say that to say this. Hell yeah, people gonna doubt you. Even when you win and people doubt you. It's some psychopaths on the internet who swear up and down I'm not the real deal, even though you can Google Forbes magazine, Marquett Devon Burton, and find me there. Even though you can see me walking around in China with 30 Chinese people with cameras following me, listening to me give a speech, and they translating it into 4 different languages simultaneously, they still want to tell you I ain't the real deal. Well, how you do that if you ain't the real deal? You can see videos of me at a gala and an old white man, the governor of Virginia, trying to convince me to move my corporation to his state so they could get the tax revenue, and you still got psychopaths on the internet tell you I ain't the real deal. Why? Because I'm me.
We have one that's in a super chat about that, so we'll get to him.
Okay.
Don't worry. You want to spend your money to hate, you're going to get put down.
Yeah.
Okay. We have JB. This is the one. So you think people should show their faces, but you'll accept donations from people with no names and fake pics. How does that make sense?
This young man, and
Because
by
you
the
sent
way,
the donation.
yeah, this is a teachable moment, and I really am serious when I say that our work is to reform global culture, and a major part of that is education. And so when you ask me a question like this, I accept that you obviously have some negativity, but that's okay. You also have a sincere question, so I'm going to answer your question. Quote, so I think it's like SO comma, so it should be SO comma. So you think people should show their faces, but you'll accept donations from people with no names and fake pics. So, number one, do I think people should show their face and their true legal name? Yes, absolutely. There should be far more integrity on the internet and in the world. That would be an exercise of integrity. Do I encourage everyone to put their name and face? Absolutely. If people want to send in tuition for good information that they've received, of course I accept it because I actually deserve it. So those two things are not at odds or in conflict. So you're right. How does that make sense? Well, it makes sense because those two things are unrelated, my dear boy. Your challenge is that you probably need a basic course in English. And I'm not saying that to disrespect you. I'm saying that just so if you were asking yourself like, hey, I got some extra money, I want to take an online course, I would take a course in English because your sentence reveals that either English is your second language or you need some fundamentals. So that's one I would recommend to you. Then secondly, you state that these two things are in contradiction when they're actually not, which would suggest you need a logic course. People don't realize mathematics is the basis of logic. So first I would encourage you to get strong in your basic algebra and arithmetic. Make sure your math is strong. Then I would encourage you to take a philosophy course, which is based in logic, grounded in logic. So you could start to, understand what does and doesn't make sense because you have logical issues.
Well, the goofy thing about that statement is number one, when you were talking about people showing their face, you're talking about people who are coming on the internet speaking to thousands of people. People like that should be held accountable for the things that they say. So, of course, they would have to show their face. You saying that about people not showing their face but giving a donation, that's like if a person wrote a book and they have their picture on the back of the book because they're being held accountable for what's in that book. They don't get to see all of the faces of the people that buy that book. That's a nonsensical.
Angry man, you see, and thank you for that clarification. You see, one thing I want you guys to notice, the viewers, because Angry Man and I, we notice this because we're intelligent. I hope it doesn't get by any of you. The only people who detract from an angry man or from the saint, the only people who detract from us are low IQ people. They're not intelligent enough to understand why we speak the way we speak, why we live the way we live, why we have the philosophies we live by. And so, in their struggle to comprehend why we are different than the majority, they become angry. And what you'll notice is people often get mad at that which they don't understand.
Okay, Lucifer's back again. We have Jay
All
is
out.
back again, wanting to hate some more. He said, "You keep boasting about going to Johns Hopkins to get an education degree, even though it's the easiest degree that'll get you the least paid."
I also appreciate this question. So number one, he writes, "I keep boasting." I mention Johns Hopkins during this
Not once during
conversation?
this
I
live,
didn't mention
no.
this once, but he's right. I did go to one of the top universities in the world on the planet Earth. Secondly, he talks about getting the least paid. If you look on the internet, of all the people who are on the internet on YouTube, I'm the most paid. Side note, even your guys that you guys have millions of subscribers, I'm the most paid, including them. So at the end of the day, let's take your metric. Let's say the money counts. Then why are we having a conversation? You too broke to even be talking to me, young man. And next time you send disrespect, send it with a real token. You sending $5, bro. I couldn't even get a smoothie with that.
Oh, he's got another $5 one that we're going to
Good.
read.
He keeps adding up the $5. He broke. Jay, here's my thing to you. You're broke. And what I recommend for broke people is not to throw stones at wealthy people because you're never going to hit us. What you should indeed do is try to figure out how you could get out of your low situation because I know you're down bad because when you're down bad, you're angry. That's why you're striking out at other people. I never wake up in the morning and think about you because I don't know who you are. I never wake up in the morning and think about anyone else. I'm more so thinking like, should I go get one of my cars washed today? I just like to see the way they shine after they get washed up. You hear me? I wake up in the morning and think beautiful thoughts like, I wonder what kind of custom shoes I can create. I wonder what island I can fly to. I wonder which one of my chicks bang my line the most times. I wake up thinking about things like that. I wake up, what stock should I sell? Those are the kind of things I wake up thinking. I want to encourage you to work on getting out of that poverty, my dear boy.
I think Anchorman has something
Talk
to say.
to him.
Yeah, I'm convinced now that nothing I do is ever going to stop them from doing stuff like that because you have a very impressive resume, and it's amazing to me. Like I had people telling me I was broke. I literally went yesterday and bought a $400 box of cigars, another three something on polo gear, and then was like, oh, you know what? I should get my girl something nice. I go to the store and get her a handbag. And I'm literally 1,000 in just randomly, but
Right.
I'm broke. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Some people can't afford a $400 emergency, but
That's real. That's real.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man.
You know what's even crazier than that, angry man? Say you were broke. Say I'm broke.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Well, what's the relevance to them? Like
Exactly.
if you're rich or broke, does that affect them? It doesn't affect their bank account whether you're rich or broke. Has no relevance.
And even worse, if they truly believe that we're broke, and then it's verified that we're not, are you gonna respect them?
bruh. And,
Probably not.
and, and to the viewing public, I want you guys to pay close attention to this. Check this out. I have excellent education from multiple top 20 universities, world ranked. So what they do is they try to downplay it. They try to insult me for having credentials. Look at it on the flip side. Say I had no education. They'd be like, Marquett, who are you to give all this information? Like, you're not even educated. You didn't even go to college. You can't win with these people. If you got education, they say you're bragging about it. If you don't have it, they say you should have it. You can't ever win with haters because they'll always try to find something new. And here's the even funnier thing. Certain things you cannot fake. Your boy has been to 40 different countries and you can see it. You know, like you go check my Instagram, 40 different countries everywhere just for no reason. Your boy went to Albania. Angry man, do you even know where Albania is? Nobody even knows where it is.
I genuinely, I know the name, but I literally don't know where the hell it's at. I don't.
There's no reason to go to Albania. There's nothing there. There's nothing interesting. I literally just went to it. So when I'm hanging out with my baller buddies and they're like, hey, what you been up to? Like, I just got back from Albania. They're like, why'd you go there? Like, I just wanted to go somewhere you can't go, somewhere you ain't never been. You feel me? Like, we just boss talking over here. So it's like, if that's true, my dear boy, that Angry Man's broke or that Marquette brags a lot, like, you know, we doing things that you can't fake. So it's like you could show them all the receipts, but they still gonna hate it all the same. So
Yeah,
I just
and
want you guys to know that, like, at the end of the day, all that hate that got your blood boiling, while you swimming in that, I'm just swimming in this opulence and luxury.
You'll be swimming in a tropical destination soon.
Indeed. Don't tell them too much. They might try to, don't tell them too much. We going on another vacation. Go ahead.
and look, just for the haters that love to say I'm broke, because I know they're watching, go to Miami and stay at the Miami Beach Edition Hotel for a week, like I did. And then come back and tell me how much that cost you. You feel what I'm saying? And if you could actually do that. Like it's crazy, man. And you know, I don't know. I get to the point now. I'm to the point where I'm getting to the point where I'm not even showing them what I'm doing, because I was doing it originally to be inspiring to the brothers that's trying to, because these brothers saw me come up.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to be inspirational to them, but people are taking it as, oh, you fronting, you perpetrating. How do you perpetrate that? I went live at the damn hotel. Like,
right.
I mean,
Exactly.
people claim your car's a rental that you're in like on a daily basis.
Angry man, they tell me that one of my cars is a rental. And you know what the funny thing is about that particular car? If I wanted to rent it, it would cost about 1,500 per day just to rent it. So even if it was a rental, if I rented it 10 times, you gotta have bread to even rent it. Like, you heard me? Like, so that's what I'm tripping on, is like, first off, you're saying my car is a rental. That's just silly, because I've had it for a significant amount of time. And number two, if it was rented for that long, you got to be rich to even rent it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the thinking of these people is insane. But at the end of the day, we have to be thankful, because our haters are major supporters. You know, hate is just love misexpressed. That's all that is. And so I just want to give a big shout out to the haters. You dig? Somebody send a super chat for the haters because they too broke this in their own. So shout out to the men who are prosperous. I really do appreciate you.
We have DJ Don said, are you guys still cool with Fresh and Fit?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because, you know, everybody, I'm gonna tell the story real quick, briefly.
Okay. I didn't, just side note, I didn't even know there was a story. So I'm learning this with everyone. So let's go.
It is a story. Like, I was doing lives or whatever, and people kept coming to my chat saying, hey, they're requesting you on Fresh and Fit. And I'm thinking it's cap. I don't even think these guys know who I am, right? So I go over there one day in the live and I call in. You know, first I drop some bread because I come through, drop a hundo. And I call in and I'm like, yo, everybody telling me y'all requesting me, when y'all gonna have your boy down there in Miami. And it's like, oh, we'll have you come through. Hit us in the DM. And so I DM both of them, but they haven't responded yet. But I have an issue with one of the dudes that they're cool with. So I genuinely don't know. I really don't know. If they have me on, awesome. You know, if they don't, awesome. But I genuinely don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Fair enough. And you know what? We got about 1,500 folks watching now. So I'm sure they'll see the DM now. They did already see it. Lucifer comes with the super sticker.
We have David said, "Peace to the Saints and the Beano Nation. I've been watching or waiting on this collab for quite a while now, brothers. Always knew you all would have good chemistry. Angry Man, it would be interesting to hear the Saints' take on the Angry Man standard."
Okay.
Ooh.
Talk to me.
So the Angry Man Standard is a rule that I came up with. Well, rules that I came up with to help brothers that want traditional marriages or traditional relationships. And I actually have a book that I'm going to drop probably by the summer that goes more into detail about it. But it's basically just 5 rules. You
All
know,
right.
the first rule is to avoid single mothers. That's the first rule. The
Check.
second rule is the position of power, which means that you got to be a boss in a relationship with a chick. Now, if you're a married guy, I suggest that whatever you have, you pay all of the bills that you have. You feel what I'm saying? So you got a chick that's married to you, you know, if she works, she brings in the money that goes into your coffers and you manage all of that. And you're basically the king of the castle, the position of power. The third one is it talks about non-state sanctioned marriage or marriage in certain circumstances to avoid uh situations where you might lose part of your wealth because you didn't do it properly. You didn't set it up properly. Um the fourth one is reward punishment system, which is when you're with a woman, she's doing something incorrectly, you punish her in some sort of way, like taking away your attention or things like that. If she's doing something right, you reward her with attention or whatever you choose to reward her with. And number 5 is absolute cratocracy, which basically is you run everything. You know what I'm saying? You get the last word because you're the man. You know what I'm saying? So that's the rules. And most of the women never had a problem with it. They had a problem with the reward punishment system because they thought it was something barbaric. You know what I'm saying? And then when I explained it to them, they were like, I like, and I'm getting positive results from the guys because they've been applying it to their life, and they said, "Hey, man, the Angry Man Standard is working." So they requested a book, so I got a book coming.
You know what? A lot of that is deeply in line with the ism.
Mm,
So from an ism standpoint, I say there's a tremendous amount of alignment in terms of the reward punishment. I think that there are always results or reactions to any action. So, in
mhm,
as much as there is a misstep, certainly there would be a reaction. I don't know if I would necessarily classify it as punishment or that I would
mhm,
engage in punishment. Some situations, it's just a matter of educating the female or having that conversation. And in other
mhm,
cases, the hammer might need to be laid down. One thing I'm not big on is reward in as much as if you do something good, I actually expect that. That's the basic standard for me. So I'm
mm,
expecting you to do good things as a part of normal existence. So I would probably, in my exercise, there probably be fewer rewards. You hear me? Because I've never been big on that. But I would say those 5 pieces you laid down are very much so in line with the ism. That's all gospel and highly effective. So I'm glad he brought that up just so that you could articulate that for everyone because that's clean. And one thing I want you guys all to pay attention to. Notice you have never seen one successful person deride me ever. And I'm guessing the same is probably true for Angry Man. You never seen one successful person deride him. It is only those who are broke in poverty. And when I say poverty, I'm speaking mentally and financially. And another thing I want to let you guys know, because you hear a lot of talk on the internet about wealth, none of that matters. Happiness matters. If you ever want to look at the measure of your life, measure, are you happy on a day-to-day basis?
yeah,
That's all there is to it. And so though I might talk about a lot of this stuff because I enjoy it, I ain't gonna pretend as though I don't enjoy it. You heard me? But the measure is happiness. So don't ever get sidetracked on that.
James is back again. He said, "Peace to the Saints. Curious, do either of you know what the Great Reset agenda is in economics? If so, what are your perspectives?"
uh, I look. The thing with the Great Reset is really hard for me to give an analysis on it because it's a bunch of things that's being conflated. Like it's a little bit conspiracy and it's a little bit actual economics. Um, I've discussed it on my channel, but I discussed it in a different way. I told people that right now you're witnessing a transition of wealth that is one of the biggest transitions that has ever occurred since the freaking gold rush.
Mm.
So if you're not one of the people who has learned how to adapt, you're kind of going to be like one of those people that couldn't read and write right after the industrial revolution, and they got rid of like all of the industrial jobs and stuff, and you went into a service-based economy. So right now, if you're not technologically literate, or you don't know how to adapt to the way the world is right now, and I know you definitely adapted, you're already in tech. So, that's all it is to me. Like, as far as like, and I know he's talking about the UBI and all of that. I don't really delve in all of that. That's still up in the air. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen in November with these with the midterm elections. I'm trying to see if there's going to be a transition or if there's going to be a coup, if anybody's going to get impeached and all of that goofy stuff. So I'm still waiting to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, and to that point about being tech literate and creating tech products, just today, Saint had a consultation with me. He was talking about a technology product that he wants to create, and those are the guys I know who are serious about success. Is the ones who would seek expert advice because it's going to
Mhm.
accelerate your road to success. Sometimes a guy will come to me like, "Hey, Marquette, in 5 years, I want." I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! We ain't got that kind of time, bro. Like, look, whatever plan you got, if you can't get the whole thing done inside of 2 years, it ain't a plan." And I'm talking about 2 years to the $1 million line. You heard me? But
Mhm.
5 years, don't nobody know what's gonna happen in 5 years. That's too far out. Like, and I
Yeah.
can tell, like, I'm glad they come to talk to me because an expert can tell you and a mature man can tell you, like, nah, a 5 year plan ain't a plan because the world changes too much within 5 years for you to chart a course. Like, for example, there was a time when MySpace was all there was. There wasn't
Yeah.
MySpace was the thing. Then it fell into the dust, and then Facebook is the thing. And that is
Mhm.
what happens over time. So when you're building out 5 year plans, the world will change too much. So I say that to say, get you some expert advice. You can book at marquettism.com if you want to mess with this technology stuff, because as far as all these internet guys, they might be a pickup artist, a dating coach, all these other things. One thing your boy does do is technology. I'm an inventor of technology. Very few people can say that they've done that. And that is where my foundation and expertise lies. So marquettism.com. That's the only place you can really book a consultation now, and there won't be many left. And when I do limit them, it's just going to be like for 2 hours in the morning, and that's it.
Okay, Jay's back again. This time he said, "How about you talk about your failed and defunct company, calling yourself a businessman, but always crying about tuition?" So clearly, this person's not done research because
Right.
if they know what your company did and when the company stopped,
Yes.
there's a reason behind that.
Correct. First off, Jay, in your next super chat, tell me, like, how has Marquette Devon Burton hurt
Oh, he
you?
sent another super chat already,
Good.
too. We'll get
Yeah.
to.
Just tell the whole internet, how did Marquette Devon Burton hurt you? We want to know, like, how did he hurt you?
This is a nice comment from Sean.
If he has a failed company, that means that he's actually done something. I feel you, bro.
And someone else said, "What company have you started?"
Right, exactly. So number one,
Here's his message.
um, I just want to make sure that I answer his question because I do honor those who send in their tuition, Jay, even those who don't deserve honor. So he writes, "How about you talk about your failed and defunct company?" So I like the word defunct because that's actually the accurate word, defunct, meaning not in operation, which is correct. Now, just so that you know, because you clearly aren't aware, what Fletch does is it does indoor real time location services. It's kind of like GPS for the inside, right?
Mm.
GPS inside of buildings, you would say. So, what we're able to do is to track the movements of persons down to the millimeter. We're also able to track dwell time and when people come in and out of a given room. So we applied this in a couple different settings, namely in universities. So 400 people in a lecture hall, we can instantly tell you what the attendance is, when they came, how long they stayed in class, if they ditched class, if they went on a 15-minute bathroom break, and we give all that data to the university and they use that for compliance with federal financial aid. Now,
Mhm.
our primary customer were big universities. 30,000 students enrolled, 40,000 students enrolled, big universities. Okay, so we track in person attendance.
Mhm.
Angry man, I know you probably don't know anything about my business, but why do you think a corporation that is based solely on in person attendance, high numbers of people gathering together in person, why would a company like that be defunct today?
Well, it could possibly be because of the recent pandemic and the fact that you have a shitload of people that are learning from home. That the reason?
Right. Yeah, yeah, it's distance learning. They all had to learn from home. So you went from a situation where a whole planet Earth was showing up in person and we were serving them really well. I mean, a rapid high growth company. For example,
Mhm,
right before the pandemic, you can see me in China because we were opening an office in China. Hyper
mhm,
growth, hyper growth. And then all of a sudden it went from tremendous hyper growth to no growth. And we're losing a significant amount of money per month. And Jay, just so you know, some real boss talk, the amount of money we were losing per month is more money than you've earned in a lifetime. Let me say that one more
mm,
time. The amount of money we were losing was more
mm.
money than you've earned in a lifetime. And I'm just talking about per month, just one given month.
And
So
and that is a really feminine thing to do, JB, which is to I'm pretty sure you know the reason why. And that's some womanly shit. That's like when a guy loses his job because of some freaking technicality, and then the chick says, "That's why you ain't got no job with your bum ass." It's like, really? Like, come on, really? I can't with the
yeah,
haters, bro. My thing with
I
the
love
haters
it.
is like,
And angry man, I love it because check this out. So JB, let me teach you about some playerism. So you're on here like trying your best to discredit me when every time you ask me a question, I answer it straightforward. And the truth is a beautiful thing. Like when I tell my truth, it's still very impressive. Here's another thing. So I closed down Fletch, right? Then what I do? Went on a vacation during a pandemic, went to Medellin, came back, went to Brazil, went to Sao Paulo, came back. Then where else we going?
Cartagena,
Then we went to Cartagena, came back. Then we went to Mexico
Rio,
City, had some mariachi suits made from scratch. You dig? Came back. Then where we going? Brazil.
Rio,
Went to Rio. Boom. Came back. Then we went to Dubai to have some suits made. Came back. Then we went to Albania.
Albania,
Left. Came back. Then we
Kenya.
oh then we went to Kenya. Left. Came back. Look, little homie, I did all that during a pandemic after shutting down a company that you identified as defunct. If you can do math, my dear boy, that's about $200,000 worth of vacation, just approximately. Because think about it. That's about $200,000 in vacation. Think about that. So you cannot fake stuff like that, my dear boy. You
yeah.
got all these guys claim they got bread. You can't do that stuff without bread. So I say that to say this: defunct or not defunct, I'm still the money man. Focus on that part. He writes, calling yourself a businessman, but always crying about tuition. I like that you use the word tuition because that's what it is. Tuition means you're being educated and you are being educated. And what I want you to understand is that, when I was in your position, JB, like when I was a child, meaning a position of poverty mentally and financially, I did not have the great opportunity to be spoken to by great men who have really lived it and can tell me something that can put me on the path of success, who can educate me and accelerate me. And here's the thing: I went to top universities and paid tens of thousands of dollars and didn't get as much game in those universities as you can get from an hour of my lecture. And that is why you should pay for it. It is deserved. Huh?
Mm.
Okay, Black Wolf said to Saint and Sinner and Angry Man, right now, if I can compare the state of the manosphere, I would compare it to the book of Exodus after the Red Sea.
Oh no. All I know is as far as the Red Sea, I'm Moses and I'm leading the Beano Nation out of the manosphere. You know what I'm saying? We not doing that. So we staying, we getting up out of there, bro. We not can't engage in it anymore.
Hey, I'm just trying to figure out like all this, the manosphere is ending. Did that all happen after my viral video with old boy? I just want to just throw that out there. Just take a
Well,
look, guys.
I you know what? I don't know because me and that particular individual, we've had a problem for a while. I've been quitting the manosphere since 2017. So I don't know about the rest of the guys. I've been trying my best to transition out for a while now. They keep, I'm like Michael Corleone. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. You know what I'm saying? But nah,
OD.
I'm transitioning out because I've realized that I'm bigger than that box that they're trying to put me in.
And the game is pristine, man, in a real way. I'm enjoying this conversation, and it's always good to to deal with peers. And that's one thing I want the viewers to understand. Like, uh, there's an individual, and check out my backup channel. It's called The Saint. And I linked it in the community tab on my main channel. And there on the community tab on The Saint, you can see where I exposed Transica X. There's another person who actually just came out and exposed Transica X even again.
Yeah.
But I say that to say this. See, like somebody like that, they're not a peer of mine, meaning that like Shorty, you ain't in the financial level, you ain't in the intellectual level, the educational level, the professional level. You're not in the level of articulation, you're not in the level of integrity to talk about me. No, play with yourself, play with your kids, but don't play with a boss. You heard me? I slap your helmet off, and then your whole shit dead now. So that's my whole point. Is like I'm dealing with peers right now, but if you're not a peer, just show respect and pay respect. You dig? And go sit down and shut up like JB did. Before I start talking that boss talk on you, you dig? I start talking about all this custom stuff. You heard me? Because low key, I halfway do it just for you, just for y'all haters. So when y'all be hating, I'll be looking at this fine timepiece right here. You heard me? That got my initials just to be like, it's the narcissism. He put his initials in his wristwatch. Like, don't make me start boss talking because I do it all for y'all. We about to book another trip. Matter of fact, next week, should we leave?
Yep.
We gone. We gone. That's how it goes. Should we leave?
Mm.
We gone. Next week, I'm going somewhere. It don't even matter where. You did? Because we ain't got a planet. We could just get on a plane.
Look, I troll them. I troll them. You know what I did? I went and bought a freaking 2021. Last year I went and bought a 2021 Camaro SS, right?
Okay.
And the shit had I think it had like 9 miles on it.
Okay.
So when I told them about it, I knew they were gonna hate. So I told them anyway. I said, yeah, I got the drop top Camaro SS, blah, blah, blah. And so they're like, man, forget you, angry man. It's just a Camaro. Anybody can get that car. But what I didn't tell them is the same day I bought that car, I also bought my girl a Benz.
Hello.
So when they started talking that crap, I said, oh, really? So because it's just the Camaro, it's nothing, right? But what about this Benz? And I showed it to them. And then they're like, get you, angry man. Like, hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
That's true hate, man. Because people who are good people, we just want to see success. And even before I had success, when I was people like living well, I would always like, dang, I want to be like that. Or I want to watch homie how he moving. Like, let me see what I can learn from him. And there's a level of admiration, respect, and appreciation from a person with a good heart. But if you ever look out on something and you find that you're starting to feel jealous, if you're able, stop that intention, because that is true evil. But if you're not able to stop that intention, you are an evil person. And hopefully one day we can put you in the appropriate place. You did.
Okay, we have ZMJ said peace to the saints. Dark Matter Reality TV sent another super chat. Mac Universal said, the black box was awesome. Thank you for mastering the skill of influencing others' behavior without incremental cost. My mission is to think as a billionaire, and in due time, I will become one. We have Tyus, who sent 100 on Cash App earlier, sent $50. He said, this stream has to be uploaded on theassassin.com. There has been too much game dropped. I need to rewatch this a few times.
I hear you, bro. It's a whole vibe to it. Before we even got on the stream, I was like, angry man, bro. I was listening to your stream you did called the Dramosphere. And before you even kicked it off, you had some records playing. I was like, bro, just tell your boy who that was. But I think I need that in the collection. And when real people, we can vibe, like there can be a sincere friendship when you're dealing with cool folks. And that's something that I think is often missing from the internet land. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to kick it with any of these guys in the internet land. But angry man, type of cap, like, man, pull up in Saint City, man. We got to go do some baller shit. You heard me? So,
I actually was born out there.
I think I heard you say that in one of your streams. So you're born out here. Where were you raised at?
Yeah, I was born out. Well, my pops was in the military. So my pops got custody of me when I was young.
Okay.
So he was out there in Las Vegas. He was in the military. But he's from Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh wow.
So when I was younger, we moved around a lot. We stayed in different places, Detroit. I still got family all over the place. But mostly I was raised between Virginia and North Carolina. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But I also had a little also stayed in, Atlanta for a little while in the late
Dang.
night, you know what I'm saying? So, pretty much stayed all over the country, but I've never really experienced Sin City as an adult,
Mm.
you know what I'm
Okay. Yeah.
saying?
It's something else, man. I'm convinced it's one of the greatest cities in the world,
Mm,
particularly if your money's right. Like granted, if your money's not right, your
mhm,
experience will be a little different because there's so many ultra luxury things you can do here. But if you got a couple bucks, man, like you can enjoy life here like nowhere else, man.
mm.
Let's go.
Okay, we have Weedham Boy said, "Why y'all block Duke and Don? I thought you wanted the haters to pull up. You a fake. I don't know
I don't even know who Duke and Don
who that
is.
is." Yep. We
Wow.
have Bakulu. Does he want to say
Oh yeah, do you
something?
know who that is?
Yeah, I know who Duke and Don is. Who blocked them?
I don't know if he was talking about you or me. He said you guys. I don't know if he's talking about today. I don't know what he's talking about,
I
but
don't know. I just had a conversation with Duke a couple of days ago, so I don't know what he's talking about.
okay, yeah, but yeah. So one thing I also want to share with the viewing public, one, if someone says they're blocked, and I'm not saying Duke and Don is saying that. I don't know who the person is. I'm not familiar with them, but if someone says they're blocked, that doesn't mean that they are blocked, right? Like anyone can say they're blocked, just like JB's girl could say that she got this pipe last night. There's no way to verify that. It might not be the case, right? So I'm just saying, like, just be cautious of the things you hear on the internet, because even recently, someone imitating Angry Man that came on the channel, super chatting under
Yeah.
his name. So just like people say things like we don't know what's what. But at the end of the day, what you should remember is I had a whole pull-up show. And I know the internet knew about it. And the reason I know the internet knew about it is because I'm your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. You will always hear them quoting me, saying the things I said, or when they talk about me, when they're roasting me, it's like they know my whole resume and my whole background. It's like they're experts in the black box. It's like they read every news article ever published about me. So they're fans, just like Transiga X. She finally admitted in that stream that she had subscribed to me. And when I said, just say you're a fan, quit lying, she didn't want to admit it. But when you listen to her stream, A, she played my video like the whole damn thing. And B, she seemed to know everything about me, which is hard to know if you're not a fan of someone, because I'd never heard of her my entire life. Not until she mentioned me, I had never heard of her. So I say that to say this: a lot of these things on the internet are fugazi. So like people can say things, but just always take a double look. So one thing I want you guys to be mindful of, and this go for everybody. When I made my second video, my reaction to my own video, the internet went crazy. Manosphere went crazy. Negrosphere went crazy. Everybody did a reaction to my video. Let's be real here. And they played my video at length, 2 hours of Marquette Devon Burton. But here's what you don't know. So they played my video at length. Okay, that's deep. But then the next day, I said, everybody who had my name in their mouth in a disrespectful way, I invite you. Here's the link. And we kept reposting the link. Join in and address me directly. Nobody showed up. I'm going to say that one more time. Nobody showed up. So you go back to those nerds you follow and say, hey, I remember you did this video, Marquette. Then he had the pull up show. You ain't want to pull up. And don't say you ain't have the time, and don't say you didn't know about it. Because I watched these nerds be on a screen with 18 other people babbling for like 4 hours. So I don't want to hear this. I didn't know about it, because you're a subscriber. You're a fan of mine. You knew about it. And I don't want to hear you didn't have time, because y'all got a tremendous amount of time.
Okay, apparently one of our mods just admitted that they blocked Duke and Don. They were talking reckless, and someone else said they
Oh.
should have sent a super chat if they really had a critique.
Right. There you go. There you go. And one, I still to this day don't know who Duke and Don is, but whoever they are, if my mods blocked you, I empowered them to do that. And number two, if you had something to say that you need to say directly to me, or I don't know if you were talking about Angry Man, because I didn't see the chat that they're referring to. I'm just looking at the screen right now. I'm looking at Angry Man and myself, but we had a whole pull-up show where you could have pulled up. And further, getting in people's comments, like making reckless comments like that, not sending a super chat. Like, if that's really what happened, I didn't see it myself, but if that's really what happened, that says a lot.
Okay, Bakula said greetings and salutations.
Peace of the saints.
Nasa Hayana said, damn, I'm
And let me say one more thing, Bridget. And by the way, let me not fall in, because the internet will set people up for a lot of stuff. I don't want to disrespect anybody not having read what happened. So, if you ever want to get at me, and this goes for everybody, just go ahead and holler at me in a boss way. So I don't want to disrespect anybody based on the comments because there's one creator that I really mess with, Mr. Lucario, for example.
Mm,
We had did a live session and people were coming in the chat like, Mr. Lucario talking reckless about you, of which there was no evidence. It was like a complete made up internet lie. People were
mm,
trying to say that just to start some beef. So I don't want to play into that. But one thing I will tell you, what a boss to do, if you got something to say to a man, say that to that man. And then number two, just like Angry Man pulled up and sent in his super chat, he got noticed. I could see that it was him. We could communicate and then we could move from there. But chattering in my chat with 1,500 other people like a hoe, like that's not the way to go. And that is what that is. JB writes, quote, "You keep referencing the Forbes article even though you aren't mentioned in it." Oh, that's silly. How would he know that there's an article if I'm not mentioned in it? You wouldn't be able to find my name. That doesn't make any sense. Just side note, if I'm not mentioned in the article, you couldn't find it. So that lets you know he's lying. He writes, "Your name is just written under a pic that features the entrepreneur who's in the main feature of the art." This is sad, by the way, because this lets you know he really is looking all this stuff up. And this lets you know that it's really there. So he basically said, my name is under a photo on Forbes, but I'm not in the photo and I'm not in the article. That's a bold-faced
my
lie.
my question for JB, is are you in Forbes?
Oof.
That's my question, JB. Are you in for hell? Are you in King magazine? Are you in the Source if they still make it? Like, are you in any magazine at all?
And trip on this, JB. And by the way, just side note, I'm in other magazines too. You could check them out at your leisure. I mean, that's not the only one, but check this out, JB. Let me tell you how playerific it is, and this gonna hurt. And that's why I tell you guys, I only talk about 1/3 of what I actually do, just so you can hate on that third. Let me tell you how boss I am, and this gonna hurt you. Look, Angry Man, trip on this. The company that's in Forbes, right? Which,
Mm-hmm.
side note, anytime you see a company in Forbes and then you never hear about it again, just side note, that usually means that it got acquired or it got sold. A bigger corporation gobbled it up and they included it into what they're already doing under their brand or under a different name. That's usually what that means when a company's wildly successful enough to get into Forbes and then all of a sudden you don't hear about it. That's usually what that means. Just side note for the people who don't know. Now, here's the thing. At the time in which I was in Forbes about that business, I was also the CEO of another corporation that was older. So this was
Mm-hmm.
a newer company I started that grew so fast and was so cracking. Forbes did a spot on us. But here's the thing. Let me keep it player with you. And this is sharp. Shout out to the hustlers. Follow my moves. I am the North Star. I will show you how to get free, financially free. Pay attention. I'm the CEO of one corporation that has significant investment. If you invest into a corporation and the CEO, you definitely don't want them running two different corporations as CEO. You only want them running one corporation. So they're dedicating all their time, effort, and energy to making your money grow. But
Mm-hmm.
I had another idea that I knew was going to be successful and I couldn't wait on it. So what I did was this. I had a girl I was dating at the time, random white girl, no education from the middle of nowhere, no credentials, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I positioned her on paper as the CEO of this other corporation. Then I created the new product under this new corporation. You heard
Mm-hmm.
me? And then we put it out and it caught fire. So
Mm-hmm.
when we're in Forbes, I'm positioned as the chief technology officer. I own 100% of the corporation. I own all of the stock. She's
Mm-hmm.
positioned as the chief executive officer. She
Mm-hmm.
owns 0% of the shares. She's a figurehead. So then when it's sold, I got all of the bag. But here's the thing. I was also able to keep my investors at bay because they weren't tripping because I wasn't the top dog in this other company. I was in a small role as a technologist. But if you know my background, I'm not a coder, I'm not a technologist. So that
Mm-hmm.
lets you know I always been the business guy. So that lets you know that was a power play. You dig? So
Oh,
basically, he's trying to point out that I was like nobody in this corporation when I was the whole puppet master, the whole founder, inventor, and the guy who cashed out the whole thing.
yeah,
Bruh, you're not on this level, little homie. Don't even get in these waters. You would drown quick.
he's trying to explain your business to you. It's hilarious, man.
It
It's
is.
hilarious. I even talk about that on my show. Like I was roasting Taraji P. Henson because she was complaining about not making enough money, saying that she wished she could make 10 million a year or something like that. And I was like, yo, if I had Taraji P. Henson's money to invest and do things, I
Right.
said, do you have any idea what I would do? And I explained to them, I said, yo, one of the most powerful moves you can do is start a business,
Mm-hmm.
put a figurehead at it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that, for certain purposes, and then watch it take off. There's a reason why Robert F. Smith never showed that he was the face of his company, for various reasons. But, you cannot explain that to lumpen proletariats.
That's correct. And these little these small-minded guys, they ain't never, had a brick in the trunk and had a white girl driving it, knowing that that's the cleanest way to do it. They don't know anything about that. And so basically, metaphorically speaking, I had a brick in the trunk, had a upper middle class white girl driving the car. Ain't nobody gonna mess with that. They're gonna let that arrive at its destination, and that destination is big money. You heard me. So
Mhm.
don't ever try to hate on a boss when you don't understand the boss's chess moves. Just sit back and clap at the end when I say checkmate. You heard me? But don't try to criticize what you don't understand.
And then he said, "Prove me wrong. I'll send 200."
Well, you already been proved wrong. Go ahead and send my bread, little homie. But here's the thing. The funny comical part is about your $200. That wouldn't even cover my meal check. But what I might do with it is I might tip somebody on the come up. You feel me? I might tip somebody a little extra money because they on their way up. And that's a beautiful thing. So go ahead and really look at that Forbes article, read through it, and do me a favor. Google the name of the CEO. She's invisible. She doesn't exist because she was just a figurehead. I'm the one that did that. Boy, you playing checkers. He playing hopscotch. He playing Connect Four out here, man. And I want you guys to understand that there are levels to things. And it's like you guys, because you're on such a low level, you start to think that the level up here is imaginary. Nah,
Mhm.
bruh. Don't ever do that. Like understand that like because you down here, that's not the whole world. That's your world. That's not the whole world. And that's why
Bro,
somebody said, Marquette, you're driving a BMW. I was like, oh, hold on. I'm driving the most expensive BMW ever made in the history of BMW. They had to discontinue it because it was too expensive for the market. So understand there's levels to things. And you just happen to be at a level to where money is a real serious thing. Others are at a level to where they can play with money. They're playing with money. It becomes fun at that level. So don't ever doubt and hate, show respect and appreciation. And what I really do when I see somebody balling out, man, I salute them, boy. I salute it. I love to see it.
yeah, bro, they do that same thing to me. And whenever I see that, I'm like, because I'll go do something and they'll see me do it and they'll be like, oh, angry man, you're a consumer. You're spending all your money or whatever. And it won't even be something serious. It won't even be nothing big.
Right.
And I'll think to myself, like, it's really sad because it gives me an indication, like you said, of where that person is at financially. And
Yes.
they're not able to do some of the things I'm able to do. And I'm not even nowhere near my finish line or where I
Right.
want to be. And it's like, bro, y'all gotta step y'all game up.
Aaron Kitchen said, "Bruh, you inspiring. Peace to the saints."
Mm.
Anchorman, do you have anything to say right now?
Yeah, that's what it's really all about. A lot of people think that, I don't know if he was referring to me or Saint, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Like, it's a wonderful thing when you can show your achievements and show your level of success because there's probably somebody watching that think they can't achieve a certain thing and then they see somebody else achieve it. And then it's like, wow, if they did it, I can do it too.
Definitely. And they should be inspired, not hating.
Yeah.
See. We'll ask you this question, Ingrid. We have six said, "Is it better to come up by yourself or allow a chick to give you free stuff as a gift of supreme appreciation for being in her life?" I asked her why she does it, and she just said, "I just want to be used by you. She's been in my life for 1 year."
Number one, if you're in a situation like that, it would really depend on your situation. I don't know your situation. I don't know why she's doing that. I don't know if she's doing that because your game is tight or if she's doing that because she's on some other type of time. But if she's doing that because your game is tight, then hey, do your thing, bruh. Like do your thing. And I mean, if because you're saying you're prefacing that saying, is it better to come up by yourself? But if the woman is giving you that off the strength of your game, that's not you coming up by yourself. That's you doing what you do because everybody can't do that. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm.
Okay, we have Black Wolf said at JB, it's better for people to think you are stupid than to open your mouth and prove them right. The better men are the ones that are quiet often.
JB, funny. Hey, JB, by the way, tell me this. Tell me why during a pandemic, I went to more countries than you will ever go to in your entire life. Just tell me that. Carrying on.
Okay, we have Teddy Fresh said, peace to the Saints and Anger Man. JB, stop it with the BS and listen to this good game that the big homie and Anger Man are spitting.
Oh, indeed. And shout out to JB. I be kind of enjoying this. I feel more motivated.
Okay, we have Dre said, peace to the Saints. Is there a possibility that a collab with our Chicago boy be revisited? The public is trying to make him seem because he was upset. I would be mad too if someone stepped on my toes and messed up my money. This is big.
Uh,
Well,
who's he
he,
talking about?
he's talk. I think he's talking about Jack.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. And by the way, Saints, just for the audience, real quick, sorry to uh intervene, but I don't know. I don't know Minister Jap personally. I just want everyone like side note, like I don't know him personally. So when you say our Chicago boy, like I don't know he's from Chicago. I don't. All I know is I saw like one live stream. He was kicking some real game. I could tell that he was a real one. He had DM me, said he wanted to do a collab. Then he had said like, "Hey, actually, like you and my man's aren't seeing eye to eye." More so on his man's side. Like I don't have any beef with his buddy. And so he's like, he can't do it at that time. I was like, cool, I totally understand. That's all there is. Like, I don't have any knowledge of Jap beyond that. Like, we haven't had any other conversations. So I just want to say that so that if people like when you guys say things like that, I don't want you to think like I'm pretending like I don't know who you're talking about. Like, no, I don't know who you're talking about. So thank you for clarifying that, Angry Man. I just don't want people thinking there's background that doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, I can't really. Well, I'm not gonna speak for Jap. He's a grown man, but I have had a conversation with him about the situation. So I
Mhm,
kind of know about the situation, and I know he regrets going that route because he was like he really wanted to chop it up with you,
mhm.
but he was caught in one of those positions where he was trying to be loyal. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate, but you know, Cap is a good dude. He's a good dude. He's not, he he's really focused on trying to get his career right as far as being a content creator. He's trying to navigate a room full of vultures and not step on toes at the same time. So I
I
get where he's coming from, but however y'all might chop it up or whatever, I don't know, but he's a good dude in my
and
opinion.
just making some commentary unrelated to uh Jap and unrelated to the super chat. And one thing that's weird in this online space, which is why you don't see me slapping fives with people, is because you meet someone as far as a content creation level goes, and it might be like a business thing. Not even business in the sense that like I'm making money from them or vice versa, but it's a
Mhm.
business interaction in that there's like no substantial friendship underneath it. But one thing I could speak of to cats who are from Chicago, and just by the way, one thing I want you guys to know about the big homie. I didn't been through damn near every hood you want to talk about in America. You heard me? So like I just want you guys to know if we talking about Chicago, I lived in Southside Chicago. Like, I didn't visit, I lived in Southside Chicago. Just side note. You want to talk about Baltimore? Like, yes, I lived in Baltimore. Like, I didn't moved up and down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Woo.
Talk about the town and town business. Yeah, man. Like San Pablo, talk to me. International, 14th. Yes, talk to me. So I say that to say, like, whatever like hood you want to claim. If you're from LA, like wherever you want to claim, I probably been through there and I probably know some people there. Just by the way, side note, it's funny, Angry Man, some nerd had hopped on talking about like, yeah, I'm from Bompton. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Pyru. Now, this kind of stuff I don't really respect. But then when I told him like, hey man, like cut that out. And then he kept going on with it. I was like, okay, but yeah, like, see, you about to get yourself hurt because I know some real G's on Spruce Street that could get your helmet slapped off, and they do that for the free. So like, keep talking,
Mhm.
find out. Then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, I was just joking. It's like, oh, okay. So like, you didn't know that I actually. Oh, okay, all right, cool, cool. That's how it is. But anyways, I want to say that to say this. guys who grew up in some of those places I mentioned who live by a certain ethic, you just take your loyalty from your personal life into your business life. So you might be dealing with somebody that's a weirdo, but you show them the same respect because you were taught to be loyal, to be respectful. And hey, if I came in the door with you or if I'm seen with you, then I'm with you. I'm not going to abandon you in the public sphere. So I understand that kind of thinking. And even myself, I'm trying to, adjust appropriately to this internet thing because this is super goofy. But mostly I just keep it G and I don't be slapping fives and making friends out here. So I just want to say that as a side note. Like I understand how people can end up in that. And all of us kind of end up wrapped in things to where you're dealing with somebody, they're kind of shaky, but you still want to at least show them respect publicly.
Yeah.
We have Kevin said, how did you guys overcome self-doubt? I have a rough time battling these doubt demons.
Well, there's a bunch of things you can do. One of the things I did with self-doubt is I actually, and it's going to sound cliche and corny, but I actually have like affirmations and things that I want that I would write out. And every morning I would literally look in the mirror and say those things to myself. In addition to, I had a software that you can get online, which is a subliminal software. If you're a person that works on the computer a lot, you can put this subliminal software on your computer, and what it does is it flashes messages on the computer for like a brief microsecond. Um, and the way it works is while you're doing whatever your work, it gets to the point where you don't even see it. But what it's doing is it's flashing messages to your subconscious mind. And you can customize it. You can put the messages you want to put in it. So if your message is about self-doubt, you can put that in there. Also, there's videos on YouTube you can listen to while you're asleep because you want to program your subconscious mind to actually be more confident. That's what works.
Thank you for sharing that, Angry Man. And on my side, I say there are two pieces. Number one, all men are ordinary. It is the extraordinary men who know that. All men are ordinary. It is the extraordinary men who know that, which is to say that you might see someone do something and think like, oh, that guy's special. Nah, he's not special. He just practiced a lot more than you did.
Yeah.
No one's special. We're just a result of circumstance and hard work. That's about it. And once you realize that no one is like any better than you are, then you get to work on doing something that you can be great at. Secondly, I highly advise you, if you have not read The Black Box, this is a book made for you. You need to read that book, especially if you're dealing with self-doubt, because it's a story of somebody who came from a mother who was on crack cocaine, a father who was in prison when I was being born for selling crack cocaine. You heard me? Really got up out of the dirt and made it to the heights. When you come from that situation and you find yourself in a place where everyone else, their father's a doctor, their mom was a lawyer, their mom's a professor, and your mom was a drug addict, your father's in prison, you tend to think like, oh, wow, how can I survive and thrive here? That's the book that's going to guide you. And yeah, I could give you a quick answer to a super chat, but that book will nourish you over a lifetime. You can get it on Amazon, The Black Box, Marquett Devon Burton, or a low-cost copy at marquettism.com, marquettism.com. And you are the reason I wrote that book.
Okay, we have Napa said, peace to the saints. Whereas I once was blind, now I can see. John 9, verse 25. This goes out to these lefty weirdo types who are obviously unemployed and broke. Grow up.
Tabernacle.
We have Zulu back with $100.
Baller alert.
Said, peace to the saints and original MMs. Ism all the way up.
True indeed. Peace to the saints.
We have Horsley said, I found the Forbes article and the picture of the saint in 11.7 seconds.
Right. And that's what I want you guys to just please notice. When you see people try to discredit someone who actually is what they say they are, all they can do is resort to lying. And there's a couple of them out there that, like, there's an entire channel trying to deride me with lies. You know what? Lies, that's evil. It'd be one thing if they said, okay, Marquette's not in the Forbes article, and then you Google it, and you're like, dang, that boy lying. The man just Googled it. And he said, nah, he's right there in the photo. He's clearly in the article. His name is throughout. And I just explained to you everything on the back end, which is privileged information, to be honest with you.
Okay, We have CJ said JB is just trying to get pride back. LOL. Peace to the Saints.
And please note, as I always tell you, it's never a person with their real legal name and their photo, because anyone who would spend time hating on someone else is ashamed of themselves. Their
Mhm.
psychological disposition is of shame. And the reason they have jealousy is because they don't believe they will ever get up. You see, me, the reason I used to look at ballers and be like, dang, I'm going to be like that one day. Or, oh man, that car is clean. Like, hey, bro, you riding clean. Like, the reason I have the confidence to compliment them is because I already know I'm gonna be on that level. I'm gonna be right there with you, baby. So I'm just trying to make friends right now because I'm gonna see you at the top. But it's when you know that you always gonna be there in that gutter that you start to hate people who have something.
We have Edgar said he bought the black box at Barnes and Noble.
Word. That's
Okay, we
gangster. I
have
like just time out. Goddamn, you a Don DeMarco for that. I just want y'all to know, like in my neighborhood in Old Town, there's this Barnes and Noble store. You never could have told me when I was a young boy you could walk in there and buy my book.
Mm.
Ooh, you would have never told. You could have
Mm.
never told me I was gonna run a technology company. There's a lot of things you could. Ooh, shout out to that.
Mm.
John. He said, peace to the Saints. Tuition and appreciation for all the wisdom and games. Subscribe to the Patreon at the Saint in the Center.
That's real talk. If you want some real game on real life change, yes, indeed. And one thing I even want to talk about being spiritually centered. People think I'm always talking about money. That's not the case. If you check my content on Patreon, I'm like the next video I'm working on right now is like, how do I pray? Like these are the
Mm.
basics of being complete and having holistic health. And I got a lot of videos queued up that I'll be releasing. You guys see when I release videos, I release 5 at a time. So don't even trip. I got you covered. But there's already like 250 videos there, exclusive, pure game. All right. I can't take any more of this man's time. Angry man, you have been so generous with your time and bless myself, bless the Saints, bless the Beano Nation, bless YouTube, and I'm sure a couple strangers that'll stumble upon this. I do want to say publicly, if you ever need me on your channel or you want to schedule something, it's all green lights. So just let me know, and I will be there for as much time as you need me. And I'm looking forward to the start of a very rich friendship, and I appreciate you sharing this time and knowledge with us.
I appreciate you having me. Peace to the Saints, man. You definitely got an awesome platform here with a lot of awesome supporters, man. Definitely appreciate it, bro. And I truly enjoyed the conversation.
Fantastic. Hey, well, Saints, this has been one for the books, and it's really special because, as you know, I don't really do collabs at all. In the last 2 weeks or last week, I've done more this week than I've done the last 2 years. So this is great, and I hope that this has been an example of how to be civil, how to share good knowledge, how to take things in stride, even if it's just the haters. And I'm wishing you all go forward with prosperity.
And Lucifer wanted to end it out with one more.
That's a beautiful thing. True indeed. Appreciate it. Peace of the saints. All right. We'll see you guys next time.